Log into Reddit.
You cold there, Joe? You just switched over from your Bahama shorts into your sweatpants and a sweatshirt?
It got cold, man. There's thunderstorm warnings and crap.
Yeah, the
It's been
temperature
raining
dropped.
all day. The temperature dropped. It's Texas, okay? In an hour, I'll probably have to strip.
Listen, don't do that on the show, all right? We're recording this now.
Mm-hmm.
Other people may actually watch this.
You think it'll be my first time on camera?
Stripping?
No. Oh, have you guys tried this? I don't know if you've seen this or not.
Which one is it?
What is it?
It's a monster.
Dreamsicle.
It's orange dreamsicle.
Any good?
It tastes just like a creamsicle.
Really?
It is 120 calories instead of my normal 0 or 10 calories or whatever. This one's really good.
No, I never drink energy drinks. It's
I
too
live
much
on them.
caffeine. Yeah, I know you do.
It's not enough caffeine.
I like them, but they're too much sugar half the time.
Well, most of the time I drink the zero sugar ones. But this is about half the calories of your normal one. And really tasty.
I'll have to keep an eye out.
Well, it's 52 in Allen right now, so... Well, it feels like 47.
Oh.
And I'm out in my garage. It's chilly.
I actually played hooky from work today and went golfing with my brother.
I considered playing hooky today.
Yeah.
I need to take vacation sometime this month, but I really don't know when I'm going to be able to because everybody else is off on vacation this month. And my current boss is moving on, so I'm...
He's dying?
Yes, he's dying. That's
so
right.
On the other side.
It's planned. His death is planned.
By you?
But by somebody. Dang it! I left my vaporizer inside. Shut the battery. But I'll have to go grab that in just a second. So I'm taking on his work and learning what I need to with that, and they're still not giving me the manager's position, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, Joe, are you going to go to the Raspberry Pi meetup tomorrow morning?
I doubt it. I doubt it. No, I don't think so. Did we have something planned for tomorrow? We had something planned for tomorrow.
If you don't, you should go. I'm going to go.
I should go.
Yeah.
But I'm probably not gonna.
Why? What else are you going to do?
Oh, there's a Raspberry Pi meetup tomorrow.
Not go to the Raspberry Pi meetup?
Sit around and diddle your butthole?
I have a podcast tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. Oh, no, I thought y'all record on Sunday.
We do, but we have our off week recording on Saturday of the week, alternating weeks, Saturday and Sunday.
So 1 week you do Saturday, and 1 week you do Sunday?
One of them's the official podcast, which is on Sundays. And the other one is our meeting to discuss what we've been up to and to figure out what we're doing for the next show.
And you record that too?
We actually put that on YouTube, yeah.
Did you know we have a YouTube channel now?
It's good to know.
Is that?
I saw you post that in the chat, in the matrix.
Let me see what our YouTube channel is up to.
I'm a
I subscribe to it.
Is it the Hydra logo on your shirt?
Who?
That's nice. Joe's sweatshirt has the Hydra logo on it.
Did you see my shirt?
I can't tell what that is. Oldie? Yeah, that sounds about right.
I got it for my my birthday, my last birthday.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
You young whippersnappers.
We have 2 subscribers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, one of them is me.
I don't know who the other one is, but I need to subscribe probably.
You're not even subscribed to your own podcast show.
Listen, I don't subscribe to anything on YouTube.
At least subscribe to your own podcast.
That's very true. I should. I'll do it now.
Do it now.
Yeah, you shamed me into it, sir.
Joe, are you subscribed?
I think your subscription numbers just doubled.
Awesome. Make sure you subscribe, Netminer and Mordency. Is Tony in the chat?
Oh, his subscription went from 2 to 4.
Awesome.
Couldn't hear you.
What? Oh. No, Tony's not
It's
with
this.
us tonight. Buster, am I neglecting you? I'm sorry, buddy. You're not getting enough pets.
Should show your cat.
Buster, you want to see the camera? Look. Buster. He's got a collar now. Ever since he ran away, I make sure he has a collar. Come here.
My dog the other day. I got 2 dogs, and I guess the both of them were playing around outside, and the one dog bit the other dog's ear, and I guess that dog like turned her head real quick at the same time, and got a gash in her ear.
Inside her ear?
Like just at the end of her ear. She's got floppy ears. But the skin there is very thin, and so it doesn't clot real easy right there. So just blood everywhere, and every time we get the bleeding to stop, it'd start bleeding again, and it just blood everywhere, and the dog just didn't care, and it's just everywhere.
Did it ever stop?
It took a day and a half.
Dang.
Oh, it's still going right now.
Had to bandage it, and some with a pad and some painter's tape.
Did she try to get it off?
Yeah, well, we also had it wrapped up with a handkerchief, but she kept taking that off. She couldn't get the painter's tape off.
What's the name of the channel?
The Linux Lugcast.
Paper tape. Painter's tape, frog tape, it's paper tape.
The blue stuff?
Hard tape, yeah. It's not a hard tape for anybody that's concerned about me putting tape on my dog.
Nobody gives a shit. As long as you stop the bleeding. You can put super glue on there.
Duct tape.
You know, if I'd have had super glue, that'd have probably been something I tried before the paper tape.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't have done duct tape because then I'd have had to get it out of her hair.
I've used super glue on myself before on a cut at work.
Yeah.
I couldn't find any super glue. The
In
only
a
thing I had was
pinch,
Gorilla
yeah.
Glue, and that probably would have worked. But Gorilla Glue takes a long time to dry.
Mm-hmm. So, I guess we talk about what you've been watching, listening to, reading.
I guess I could. For me, I haven't watched much of anything. Like I said, work has been nuts. So
Me too.
I've been on early. I've been off late. I've watched Quantum Leap with Jackie. I know that we're planning on watching Enola Holmes today when it comes out.
What's Enola
Today's
Holmes?
the 4th, right?
Nola Holmes came out a while ago. Did I have a new one?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's another
right.
one that came out on the 4th, which is today. So it came out today.
Oh.
And then I know that there were Wednesday is supposed to be starting relatively soon, sometime this month, end of the month. I know Titans started up, but I haven't watched any of that yet. There's 2 episodes in. I need to finish last season for that. I'm 2 episodes behind on Doctor Who, and they're both specials. I already know David Tennant came back. Blah 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 blah. But have not watched it yet. And then let's see. Have we watched any movies or anything? You watched movies without me. because it was cold out in my garage. Okay, but listening, I had to jump through the hoops to try and get a specific book called Fire Dance by Stephen Barnes downloaded, and I have a copy on Kindle, but I didn't have a Kindle device that was registered. So I couldn't download it to my computer to move it to an EPUB, to move it to my phone so that I could listen to it there. So I tried a couple of different things, including getting a copy of it on Google Play, which it only cost me like another $5. So I paid for the book 3 times because I have a hard copy too. And you can listen to it on Google, but I really didn't like how the interface worked on there. So I turned on one of my old Kindles and got it re-registered to my name and downloaded it to my computer through Kindle, used Calibre to convert it, or Calibre, excuse me, to convert it to an EPUB from their proprietary version, and then moved it to my computer, and I'm using Voice Aloud on it. And yeah, and I also listened to the Lunar Cycle. Who was the author for the Lunar Cycle? Lunar Chronicle, yeah. Marissa Myers is the author on that one, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah, Cinderella's a cyborg, and the people from the moon can control other people with their brains.
Sounds like a good B movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And Rapunzel, lives in a satellite that orbits the Earth. And Scarlet, Little Red Riding Hood. I still think that's Little Red Riding Hood and Beauty and the Beast mixed. So it's like Little Red Riding Hood and Belle mixed together. She's from France, and she's 1/4 moon person, but she doesn't have any of the moon person powers, but she falls in love with the big bad wolf. Yeah. That's a moon soldier that's been genetically modified to be more wolf-like, with big wolf canines.
Crafty moon people.
Yeah. And, I don't know. Well, yeah, Evil Queen, etc., etc. It's a decent series. You should try it out if you get the chance. Also, I'm planning on my next book series that I listen to being a really stupid one. But, I don't know, I've listened to it twice and can't complain so far. Called Ghosts and Magic by M.R. Forbes. And then there was another series that was recommended to me that I was going to do after that one. Called I don't know what the series is called, but it's by John Gwynne. Wrath. Faith in the Fallen, Book 4. But I have the whole series, so I'm going to listen to that from John Gwynne just because someone recommended it. Oh, Jackie wants me to show you the book.
Oh.
Because she likes the book series too.
That's it from you?
I've been doing a crap ton of 3D printing, but I figured we'd talk about that later.
Okay.
What about you, Honky?
Let's see. Listening to audiobook, I've actually listened to some with the Earth Core series by Scott Sigler. which really makes me want to. How many times they keep on referencing his Infected series? I want to go back and So he likes to give out like the first book for free, and I tried going to Audiobook Bay to get the rest of the Infected series before, and nobody.
I have most. They are impossible to find. I have most of them. Most of his books.
Yeah, I gotta. All right, I gotta hook up with you somehow. All right.
Yes.
I was hoping you had it because you had some audio book or like music and stuff on your Plex. So I was hoping it was on your Plex, but I couldn't find anything there. So I went to Audiobook Bay and I actually was able to get the Earth Core series. So I started listening to those. That's what I did
Both
for
books.
Yeah. I was able to download both of them. I just I am in part 2 of Mount Fitzroy right now.
I haven't listened to that one yet. I have it.
It's really good. Like, I didn't know what to expect from it, and I started listening to it, and it's really, really good. But I mean, I've liked everything that Scott Seeley has done so far, anyways. So
Tilt's interviewed him one time, way back when Patio Books had just started. Him and JC Hutchins were on separately, but Scott Sigler just has this huge following, and he has people all over tech and in the military and in specialized fields, in tech and science and medicine, and he sends them things that, what about this? And they're like, that wouldn't happen that way. It would happen like this. So most of his stuff is very, very plausible, factual, and have you read Ancestor?
Is that the one where they wake up in the pods?
No, that's the Alive. That's the Alive series.
That's right. Yeah, I've had the first book of that series I've listened to. I haven't listened to Ancestor yet.
Ancestor, as far as I know, is just a standalone single book, but it takes place in Michigan, and they're trying to find a ancestor gene that goes far enough back that it is compatible with everything under it in the phylum in biology.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is, they recently discovered a worm that they have labeled that as an ancestor species that links everything that's currently alive together.
Wow.
But the reason for that is the whole Jurassic Park thing, filling in the genetically modifying. They were trying to create a prey animal, so like a cow, that they could incubate a genetically modified creature in that grew fast, was passive, non-aggressive, universal organ donor for humans.
Cool.
And the scientist in it, she's so funny. She is using a Beowulf cluster, Linux cluster, and she's calculating all these permutations of the genetic code they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So the company that she's working for is decades ahead of all the competition because of the Linux cluster. And this was, this was like almost 20 years ago, I think. So it was right when people were just talking about a Beowulf cluster.
Yeah.
And all of Scott Sigler's books over the course of of like 1,500 years is 800 years, whatever the span of the oldest one to the most far out one in the future, are all in the same universe, and there's references throughout all of them that intertwine them together.
Yeah, I think there's several characters
vaguely similar to Change Agent by Daniel Suarez.
I never listened to those.
You don't listen to You should listen to Daniel Suarez.
All right, I'll take a look.
All of his books are worth the read.
Yeah, but
I thought you read Damon and Freedom.
Nope.
should. Kill decision, change agent, all good stuff.
Yeah, but I really got to find the infected books because they reference it several times. Been watching Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities.
Guillermo?
Yes. It's on it's a show on Netflix, which is a bunch of short stories, short movies, I guess. Like 1 hour movies based on short stories. A lot of them
There's a podcast series that's somebody's Cabinet of Curiosities. It's really good.
Oh yeah?
Also. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm up to date with Andor. I've finished all of the Rings of Power, She-Hulk.
Yeah, I did watch all of She-Hulk, and I don't understand the hate that it's getting online.
That was fun.
It was fun. I just don't understand all the hate that it's getting online.
Well, they like to people online like to hate everything.
It's because they don't have a real muscle girl. They're doing CGI. They should take some tips from Lou Ferrigno and the Incredible Hulk. That's how you do a Hulk show. Should have got Gina Carano or Ronda Rousey, Ronda Rousey, whatever her name is. They could have been the Hulk.
I thought it came out well.
Oh, good. I thought it was fine. I thought it was fun. It was a different style of Marvel show. It was fun. But the last episode where he met Kevin Feige.
Kevin, not
That's right.
Kevin Feige. Kevin.
That's right. that was good. I like that. Yeah. Andor is getting really good. That took a while to kind of ramp up, but it's getting really good.
I'm gonna have to start that one.
It's an interesting perspective. It's where the rebellion started. It shows like how it all got started and some of the factions of the original rebellion, and it's fun. I like it. But it was definitely a slow burn to get started.
Well, they all are. All the Disney ones. I mean, Mandalorian started out slow, even if it was awesome. Boba Fett is... Oh, okay. I can't say much good about Boba Fett, except it turned into the Mandalorian for the last 2 episodes.
I still enjoyed it. I thought it was...
It was a slow burn the whole way through until it turned into Mandalorian.
Yeah. I liked it. But I'm easy to please.
I watched a few movies.
What do you watch?
Let us know about it.
I watched In the Mouth of Madness with Sam Neill.
I like that movie.
Yeah, it was cool, man. I really liked it. About Sam Neill is a insurance fraud investigator, and there's this famous author who writes these horror books. He's kind of like Stephen King, except he's like even more popular than Stephen King. And he goes missing, and the publisher it wants to file an insurance claim on their missing author, but Sam Neill needs to make sure that he's really missing. So he goes looking for him, and he finds him in this fictional town that the author always writes about and stuff. And it's kind of like this Lovecraftian story, and it's got lots of cool monsters and stuff like that, and it's really good. Well, I wouldn't say it's really good, but it's pretty good. I watched Bushwick with Batista, and I was talking on the Matrix. I think it's probably pretty underrated as far as like it's cool. It's a cool movie. I mean, the whole premise is New York is being invaded, and it's just this people of Bushwick are trying to defend their neighborhood against this invading army. And you don't really find out who it is till towards the end, but it's all shot kind of like real close in, kind of like a video game almost. So you're always following the characters wherever they go and stuff. But I was telling people in the Matrix room that it's probably I can see this being like a cult classic, like in about 25 or 30 years, and people coming back to it and appreciating it. It reminds me of that Assault on Precinct 13, that kind of claustrophobic energy, lots of good action and stuff, and the ending is pretty crazy. I watched a movie called The Conversation with Gene Hackman. That one was really good. He plays like this surveillance specialist who's who's got hired by a wealthy client to keep tabs on this couple and record their conversations and stuff, and he kind of gets wrapped up in a murder plot. And it's got Harrison Ford in it. It's a good movie. I started watching. I'm trying to give Buffy the Vampire Slayer another shot. So I tried to watch it before, and I just couldn't get into it. So
TV show?
yeah, the TV show.
Well, first season is definitely not that good, and
Well, they're all like
video
that, aren't
quality's
they?
not
Yeah.
that good.
But last time I tried to get into it, it was just like a bunch of. It was too teeny for me, like too teenish, teenage-ish, however you would say, like lots of teen angst and kind of young for my taste. But
Well,
trying-
when
I'm
it
trying
first
to
came
go
out,
away.
you would have been pretty close to the right age.
probably, yeah, I'm sure when it first came out, I would have enjoyed it more if I had watched it.
Unfortunately, that doesn't go away with that show, but they use a lot of other things to make it amusing, and that's why I think Angel was a little bit better, because Angel had less teenage and angst to it.
I'm going to disagree with you there entirely. It might have had less teen angst, but angst in general, it had way more.
What? Angel?
Angel had way more freaking angst in it.
Like kind of an
woe
emo
is me,
vibe.
I can't be happy because if I'm happy, I turn into the devil.
I think that's about.
And that show
all I've
took
been
like a
watching.
weird turn too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
couple of weird turns.
couple of weird turns.
And Spike, had that great ending at the end of Buffy where he sacrificed himself and saved the world, and the perfect ending for that character. And then let's bring him back in Angel.
Right. But then the Angel had probably one of my favorite endings to a show ever.
And it transitioned really well directly into the comics. Now, granted, Buffy did too, but yeah, it was good.
Oh, and I last time I talked about I had watched the new Halloween movie, Halloween Ends, supposedly the last one. But I hadn't really seen any of the new ones, so I watched the one right before that one called Halloween Kills. And that one was actually a lot better than the brand new one. It had a lot more Michael Myers in it, and lots of the violent goodies that Halloween is known for. And I would recommend that one over Halloween Ends. And that's about all I've watched. Projects I've been working on, stuff, I guess I'll talk about it on the show.
What about you, Morton C?
A lot of the same shows everybody else is watching. I did watch the animated I Am Groot. I guess it's just 5 4-minute shorts.
Yep.
That was funny. I don't know. I watched a few movies.
That reminds me. I'm gonna cut in right there while we're talking on the subject before you switch to the next one. They're going to have a holiday special for Guardians of the Galaxy, and that comes out this month. And it's supposed to be mocking the Star Trek holiday special, or Star Wars holiday special. Yeah.
That might be fun.
Okay, that was it.
There's a spin-off of Walker, Texas Ranger.
Yep.
It's I think it's called Independence. It's okay.
Got the guy from Supernatural in it, isn't it?
Pardon?
Is that the the Walker, the new Texas Ranger is the one that has the guy from Supernatural in it.
Yeah. And he's Walker.
Yeah.
So his brother in the Walker TV show, I think, is an ancestor of the family. Liam Walker.
Okay.
The same actor is playing somebody back in the railroad times.
This is
in the
like
Old
the
West.
Old West. Yeah.
Yeah, they talk about Pinkertons and all that kind of stuff, and cattle rustling, and
No Chuck Norris.
nope.
He's old.
Oh, he wouldn't even be born yet.
The actor is old.
We got it. Started rewatching Final Space.
Rewatching?
Final Space.
Yeah.
It's an animated series. I made the comment to somebody that if I ever win the lottery, one of the first things I'll do is give money to the guy who wrote it to finish it.
I would like to see it finished.
Yeah.
Anybody
there's
playing
lots
this week's lottery?
Oh,
No.
it's over $1.5 billion now, with a B. Billion. Drawings tomorrow, right? I better get me a ticket.
Yep. I'm pretty sure Jackie got us a ticket. So
I'm still watching Pennyworth, which is Batman's butler when he's in former MI5 or whatever. Shantaram. It's the actor that played Jax in Sons of Anarchy. It's a new show he's in where he escapes from prison in Australia and goes to Bombay. Two vampire shows, Reginald the Vampire and the new adaptation of Interview with the Vampire. I'm liking Reginald the Vampire. It's very funny. Oh, and I watched this movie called Universal Soldiers.
quality right there.
But I'll save that for later. Quantum Leap, the new Quantum Leap, and there's a show called The Peripheral. And it, I don't know if it's written or influenced by Philip K. Dick, but it's got that kind of feel to it. It's current times, and they're using VR goggles, and then it links into something that's going on in the future. The story's kind of unraveling right now.
I think I've seen some previews for that, and I wanted to watch it. I just hadn't set anything up to be able to watch it yet.
I watched Await Further Instructions that Danny had recommended.
Oh, yeah. What'd you think about that?
And then halfway through, I was like, oh, I watched this years ago on Netflix when it came out.
You've already seen it?
Yeah. And I was like, why did I watch it twice? It was okay for a single viewing, but twice was too much.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch it twice. It's an interesting premise. But, yeah, I wouldn't watch it twice. I can recommend In the Mouth of Madness, but you've probably already seen that.
Yeah, I think I saw that in theaters. I'm ashamed that I haven't watched the last two that big H.P. Lovecraft movies that came out. Color Out of Space, and there was something else that was.
Yeah, I haven't
The
seen Color Out
Lighthouse.
of Space either. I did see The Lighthouse.
And The Lighthouse.
Has anybody watched Werewolf by Night yet?
Yes.
No, but I
What
haven't.
did you think?
Meh.
Meh.
Yeah.
Okay, I had heard it was pretty good. I want to see it. I have it. I just haven't watched it yet.
I want to hear what you think about The Lighthouse, because I have my own kind of strong opinion about it. But it's
I would say
definitely
I'll probably
it's a divisive movie. I would say that.
I will probably love it.
Okay. When you watch it, we'll talk about it.
I don't remember what else I watched on Tubi. I know I watched a few things on Tubi. I watched a movie on Netflix called Lou, and I've been watching some more old Stargate.
Universal Soldiers is on Tubi. Have you've seen all of Stargate before?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Didn't see it when it was on Showtime. I saw the movie in the theaters when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And what was that? 95, 85? Whenever that came out.
Long time ago. I think it was 95.
Long time ago. And then Stargate was on Showtime, and then once they moved it to Sci-Fi bought it. Whoever the CEO of Sci-Fi was had wanted Stargate and wanted to expand it and bought it from Showtime and canceled Farscape.
Oh,
Honestly,
they're the ones that did that?
Yeah. That was the new head of Sci-Fi that made that decision, and then
Well,
somebody
why
else
did they
came in
have
and
to cancel it when they canceled it, though? It's like the worst time to cancel it.
Right?
Yeah.
I know, yeah, and it had super high ratings
It was
for a
great.
sci-fi cable show.
Yeah.
but then they just took all the actors from Farscape and shoved them into Stargate.
They did. Ben Browder and Claudia
Oh,
Black,
yeah.
and
That's right. Yeah.
When
well,
all
I think
the,
that's because the actor that plays Daniel. I think he no, yeah, the actor that plays Daniel. I think he married her, Claudia Black,
Did
or
he?
they were dating or something like that. I forget all the gossip from back then.
yeah.
I
But like all the original SG1 crew just like quit one after the other, and they're like, we want to keep the show going. So
well, they started Stargate. What's the next iteration after SG1?
well, they had Stargate Atlantis that ran at the same
Atlantis.
time,
Yeah, that's
and
when
then
Jason
Stargate
Momoa started.
Universe. That
Yeah, but Universe was something totally different.
no, it actually was a continuation.
You're talking
It
about when
started
they went
from
into the ship
Stargate.
and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
ship,
the
the
concept was
seventh
totally
chevron.
different. Like there was no connection as far as like actors and stuff went.
Well, no, the first episode actually had O'Neill.
O'Neill.
Yeah, the main character, MacGyver.
He was in Universe?
Yeah, he was in the first episode, and I think he was in a couple of later episodes as well, because they were basically inhabiting the bodies of people back on Earth
Oh, that's
in
right.
order to
Yeah.
communicate.
Yeah, that's right.
So
I just didn't think it was that great. Not compared to
it
the
wasn't.
SG1 and Atlantis.
It wasn't that great, not compared to the other ones, but I did watch it, and I didn't watch the last couple of seasons of SG1. I thought it just started getting boring, and I was more interested in Atlantis, and I did watch Universe. So
The last episode of Universe could just suck my balls. That was the
yeah,
worst thing they could have done.
let's just put everybody in hibernation and travel amongst the stars, and hopefully we get somewhere eventually one day. But yeah. Okay. Is that it, Mortency?
Probably.
Probably not. What else you got?
I don't remember. I'm actually looking for my external hard drive that has my audiobooks on it. That's all I have to report.
Have you been listening to any other books?
No, actually, I haven't touched my my old phone that has my audiobooks and podcasts on for months now.
I did just pick up a Larry Niven collection because he did some work with Stephen Barnes, and I like both of their works, so I'll be going through those sometime soon. I have so much to listen to. Take a couple of lifetimes for me to actually listen to.
Have you heard anything about your Linux phone?
Not a thing.
Oh.
You can buy it from Hong Kong for $350.
Are you going to join the Jitsi?
Yes.
And how much did you pay it for on the
Kickstarter.
what was it? Kickstarter?
$900 a piece, and I must have clicked submit twice because they billed me twice.
Oh.
And now it's $350.
And available for immediate delivery.
Oh
And
my
you
God.
still haven't gotten yours, yeah. And I remember the one thing that I tried to buy on, I think it was Indiegogo. It might have been Kickstarter. Jackie saw a speaker that she
That Bluetooth
really
thing, right?
liked. Yeah, that Bluetooth speaker. I can't even remember what it was called at this point.
What's the name of that phone? I forgot. What was the company that was making that
FX
phone?
Tech Pro. FX Tech Pro.
Yeah. I remember we posted that in the show notes a long time ago. You want to start the show?
Sure.
It's 9 o'clock. Here it is, 10 o'clock there.
Welcome to episode 207 of the Linux Lugcast. We are an open podcast /lug that meets at 9 p.m. Eastern every first and third Friday of the month using Mumble. We encourage anyone listening to join us and participate on the podcast. Check out linuxlugcast.com for the server details. If you have any questions, comments, or topics you'd like us to discuss and are unable to join us live during the show, you can send us an email at feedback@linuxlugcast.com. You can join our subreddits where we post things. We have a MeWe page, which we're pretty sure somebody checks. And we have a Matrix channel where we like to hang out and mostly just play the game Framed and movie. What was the movie one called? Movie Doll. Either way, we play those games. We post it a lot. We occasionally talk about tech and stuff and movies and whatnot, but mostly Framed. If nothing else gets posted that day, it's usually a somebody's score from Framed.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We have a YouTube channel. We got to put that into the show notes.
Mm-hmm.
How come that's not in the show notes yet? The link to our YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel because we do a video version where you get to see our beautiful faces as we sit here and talk with you.
Nothing more exciting than watching a podcast.
Right.
Oh yeah, you
New
can see
headset,
what kind of t-shirts we're wearing.
That's
Necrophiliac.
right. I got nothing.
Oh my God. Is that true, Mordency? That shirt? Or is that from a show or something?
No, that's from his
it's
own personal collection. He made it.
Is that your kink?
So humorously, yes, because used to love Frankenstein and reanimated stuff. Not so much after my surgeries, but zombies and vampires and stuff. People just love them. But the phrase came from my roommate's girlfriend's friend. Came up to her boyfriend and grabbed him and told him she was an undercover necrophiliac. Because she didn't comprehend that necrophiliac and nymphomaniac were two different things.
Oh.
That's an inside joke.
She was going for the other, and I was like, we need to make a shirt. When I heard that story, I was like, we need to turn that into a shirt. We Googled online and nothing came up, and I was like, absolutely, we need to do it.
Excellent.
And my video's freezing.
Does he still have the same girlfriend?
My roommate married. I actually got ordained to do the wedding. Her friend, I have no idea. I don't know if they're still together. I haven't heard anything about them in like 6 years. There is. I usually wear this and or my necrosexual shirt, which is the next one we did. To the Linux Fest, I usually wear them at the parties at night, and usually people just ignore it, or they ask me questions and they think it's funny, and then there is one person who is hyper offended by this. It's more so because other people aren't as offended as she is.
Mm-hmm. So she's not into necrophilia, is what you're saying.
She does not think it's funny. The only thing I can think of is maybe her family encountered that situation at some point.
Or maybe
And
that's how she sexually identifies and doesn't want you making fun of
That's
her,
right.
Her
No.
choices.
It's definitely the other direct. She's hyper offended by it, and
so that's why you wear it.
and no. I mean, it's got so much humor, and everybody loves it. Everybody that talks to me about it loves it. Minus one person.
Well,
I actually the last 2 times I was at the same place, same Linux conference she was. I intentionally did not wear it when she was there, and I did hear her talking about me in the background, asking if that guy was here.
That guy.
And mentioned the offensive shirts, and I was like,
Should have walked up and been like, "Yep, I'm here."
now I would, but no, I was very unconfrontational at that point. Very quiet and reserved.
it's like an odd thing to get upset about.
Somebody's stupid T-shirt.
Well, yeah, somebody's stupid T-shirt, and then just
I remember when I was in the military, it was in that time frame when people were, just after that time frame where people were like mailing anthrax and fake anthrax to politicians.
Oh, I remember that.
And my roommate at the time, Fred, his name is Izu Fredrickson. Well, he had a shirt printed that said "Got Anthrax" on
Like
it with a
got milk?
question mark. Yeah, like "Got Milk." And I kept little dude. He's a tiny guy, like scrawny as heck. And so we would go out because he's my roommate, and he would either be the designated driver or I'd be the designated driver. But we'd go out and we'd go to places, and people would just get so offended by his shirt, saying, "Do you think that's some kind of joke or something?" Like, what makes you think it's not a band shirt?
You say, yes, it is a joke that you don't get.
And so I'd have to prevent him from getting his butt whooped, like at least once a week, because he would go out in that shirt. It was fun though.
again, that seems like a stupid thing to get upset about.
It does.
All right. So I'm your host for this evening, honkeymagoo. With this tonight is Joe.
That's me.
Minnix.
Hello.
Morton C.
Hello, everyone.
Matt Miner.
Oh, he's got him.
Hello, folks.
And listening in is Cherry Hill Tony.
Oh, is he?
Yep. He joined a little bit ago.
Nice.
Oh, I have to ask: was it the right headset? I know you said you ordered 2 of them. Did it come with the dongle?
Nope, they're wired.
Oh, that's horrible.
Joe, you
I'm
piece
sorry
of shit.
about that, man.
But that's okay because I'm using it.
It's
I'm
the
using
same
it on my
listing.
phone.
Well, it sounds really
I'm
good,
using
though.
Yeah,
sounds
it
really
does
good.
sound good. It was the same listing. They said that the listing had just dropped in price, and so that's what I had shared with everybody. And as a matter of fact, The listing still said Bluetooth at the very least, so I don't know why that's a wired one. Is it Bluetooth? No,
It
not if it's
doesn't say
wired.
so on the box.
Then you should definitely complain and see if they'll give you your money back and let you keep them anyway. I still got mine right here, all charged up and ready to go.
Mpow, that's what it was, right? Maybe that's why it dropped in price.
Because they switched it to the wired one instead of the...
Yeah.
It's still a decent headset. I mean, it's still like a HyperX clone. I can't think of any difference between that one and like the HyperX Cloud.
Yeah, I'm not getting the channel in the show notes. So. What show is this? 207?
207.
Yes.
All right, we have an
The YouTube channel?
absolutely epic movie to talk about.
Yes.
High quality film.
Oh, I guess I need to bring up the show notes. I can add it.
Would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah. Oh, did you paste it in? Who did that?
What?
Oh, okay. That was really slick. I was typing YouTube channel and it just appeared. I was like, how the hell did that happen?
Magic.
It is magic. Anyway, yeah, thankfully I'm not responsible for this week's movie. Joe offered to take the blame,
It was all my fault.
which I'm really happy for. So he gets to give the synopsis.
I don't know if I can. There was no real plot in this movie. Okay, so anyways, the
Kind
movie
of.
is called Universal Soldiers from 2007. Not to be mistaken for the Jean-Claude Van Damme, Dolph Lundgren movie of a similar name, Universal Soldier.
Oh, trust me, there's no mistaking the two.
Yeah.
I can read the IMDb.
Oh, please do, please do.
The U.S. government initiates a program to create genetically modified cybernetic super soldiers, but it goes awry when the test subjects escape from their holding cells. It's set on an isolated island in an undisclosed location.
Yeah, okay, that is technically correct.
Why don't you
will
give us the
say-
score real quick? The IMDb score,
2?
just to fill in all the blanks.
1.6 out of 10.
Okay,
That's
so
being generous.
yeah, this movie is hot garbage. Like gross, hot garbage that's been left rotting out in the sun. It really remind me of Cyber Tracker quite a bit, mostly because the soldiers in this that are supposed to be Marines aren't. I mean, like, seriously, aren't.
Well, which one? Was Cyber Tracker, was that the one with Don the Dragon Wilson, or is that the one where they're in that desert town?
The one where they're in that desert town. Maybe I got the name wrong, but that's the one I'm thinking of. The one where they were in that desert town, and
With
they
Swayze's
were
brother.
Yeah,
were-
that was at
they
least
were-
somewhat fun.
chasing the
Okay.
the cyborgs, and like half the people ended up being cyborgs and they didn't know it. Was that Cyber Tracker or was that something else?
I thought that was something else. Maybe,
Maybe it was something. It had to be something else.
because I
What was
thought
it?
Cyber Tracker had Don
it
the
wasn't
Dragon Wilson.
surrogates. Oh no, then Cyber Tracker. You're right. Cyber Tracker had Don the Dragon Wilson.
Because there's a
But
part
that is
2 as well.
the wrong one. I'm looking through the list trying to find the name. It's so crappy I can't remember the name.
Was
Upgrade
it?
heavy metal.
Because some of these got, when my server crashed, some of them got erased. It wasn't Cyborg, because that was too old. Digital Man?
Yes.
Yes, it was Digital Man.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, this
I need to
reminds me a
mark that off.
lot of Digital Man.
No,
What
where they had all the
Man,
cyborgs.
Digital Man was at least somewhat. It was a bad movie. It was a
It was
bad
horrible.
movie, but it was
Horrible.
still somewhat amusing. This was horrible. The whole entire movie, and I didn't even finish
No,
it.
I agree.
The movie was a bunch of nonsense military garbage, like we're gonna head
Strung
2 clicks
together.
down up the hill here, and then add a couple of fucks and shits, and what do you mean
Zero strategy. The soldiers knew nothing about soldiering.
it's
One of the soldiers had a shotgun.
yep.
I can see Joe's point, though. I mean, the premise is similar to Cybertrekker. I mean, Digital Man, not Cybertrekker, Digital. Well, it's
Digital
kind of
Man.
similar to Cybertrekker too, but digital, yeah, because you got a military force and they're up against this ultimate weapon, and
And you missed the best part, Honky, but we'll get to that in a second. Because I want to mention that they were talking this whole time about getting to an armory, like
Yes.
arguing about getting to an armory,
To an armory
getting
or
to
going
an
to
armory.
the server, or to what the server reset the
mainframe.
server
Mainframe.
reset the mainframe.
Mainframe.
That's right.
There's
Reset the
two
mainframe,
places.
go to the armory. Reset the mainframe, go to the armory.
They were arguing about which one to do first, and then they ended up at the armory first, and they crack open this armory, and there's like 4 pistols and 2 Uzis on a military base armory.
and some helmets,
And
a couple
it's like,
helmets.
and it's like it's all of a 1.5 feet deep, and this is like an armory, and it's like, really?
And then like one of the main guys somehow gets killed right when they go into the armory, but I didn't see how
No.
it happened.
The-
He just has
That's
a
the whole movie.
The mainframe.
If
You
No,
just
no,
said
it was
if
when they
there
broke
was-
into the mainframe.
oh, the mainframe when he has the
If
stick
the-
inside of him.
Yeah.
If there was somebody
they
who
threw
was
it
somewhat
through
in
the
charge,
door.
if there was somebody who was somewhat in charge for like half a second, he got a stick chucked through him.
Like one of the main Marine guys was like in charge, and he was supposed to be all gung ho, hoo hoo, and then some guy calls on the radio, and I don't think he actually knew the guy, and then they're under fire, even though like the cyborg, whatever genetically modified things, super
The universal
soldiers,
soldier.
the
Right.
universal soldiers, like hadn't really gotten the whole gun concept yet.
They had a sword somehow. Where'd that
They had
sword
a
come
sword.
from?
They had spears that they made with like perfect cuts in them, but they didn't have weapon. Anyways, so this guy is dying on the radio, and this Marine just goes nuts and goes running off by himself,
Now, how far did you get, Honky?
screaming.
A little ways after that, when they were attacked again and they all split up all over the place, and then the
Okay.
guy turns around like
Oh,
around
and
the tree and shoots the nerd, the scientist who always had the little hanky and stuff, and he turns around the corner and shoots him in the face, and
Oh yeah.
he kind
Oh,
of
well,
wipes his face with this hanky and throws it down.
that was kind of
Like,
early.
what did
then.
you do?
What
He's like,
happened?
"Bleh."
So you missed all the good action towards the end.
Oh, there's good action.
No, we'll get to that in just a second. And then the word fallout. Evidently, none of these Marines knew what fallout meant, as opposed to like fall back. But
It's
No.
it's military jargon that they threw in there in between all the fucks, the shits, the shut the fuck ups, and dame, and they made a lot of sexist comments along with all the other fucks and shits.
talking
and,
about that girl's small boobs when she didn't have small boobs.
I'll tell you what, this blonde in the tank top is the only reason I watched the whole thing.
Yeah,
And so luckily she didn't get killed because I would have
she's
just
the only
turned
one
it
that
off.
lived.
Yeah.
I didn't give a crap about any of them, and they tried to do something
It's
like they
worse.
sat around the fire and tried to learn the people's names and where they're from, and like one of the girls says, "Oh, my mine's like what too much to talk about." Like, great, don't, and that was about it.
It gets worse.
You
Trust
missed
me.
the twist at the end.
Yeah,
There's,
no,
a, there's
because-
a twist.
Because at the end they get to the mainframe, they get all the super soldiers turned off, and then the ultimate super soldier that they were talking about, that's this giant 30-foot tall robot, turns on.
There's an ultimate one.
It's
So
like a giant
I didn't
metal
make it that far.
skeleton, it looks like.
they've won. There's one person surviving. Everybody else is dead. All the super soldiers are down, and then suddenly there's another super soldier, and she's being chased by a 30-foot tall giant killing machine robot, and the Air Force is coming in and shoots it.
No, but I was
It was
talking
like
about
a
the
giant.
twist.
It was like a giant It was like a giant Terminator, and it was where all the CGI budget went.
Yeah,
What's that
it
one
looked
series
terrible.
of movies that Jason Mewes was in? It was a horror series. It was only
I
in
don't
like the
know.
first movie of the series, and these creatures come out of nowhere and start killing everybody. And then there's like 4 movies, and I think you recommended it to me, Danny.
I did?
Yeah.
With Jason Mewes?
Yeah. It was
Yoga
some
hosers?
Wargasm?
No.
Husk?
Hold on. I'm looking at his
Was it a
filmography right
Kevin?
now.
Was it a
Was it
Kevin
a
Smith movie?
series or movies?
No, it was a series of movies. There was like 4 of them.
Yoga hosers?
No.
I'm looking at it too right now because I don't remember that. Are you sure it was me?
No.
No, I don't think it was me.
He got his face ripped off.
Sounds cool though.
All Jason Mewes. Roy was here. Devil's Tower. The Watermelon.
So the twist I was talking about, Honky, was, do you remember the brunette?
Beast.
What is it?
Beast.
Beast?
He was in Feast?
He was. He got his face ripped off in the first movie of Feast.
I haven't seen that. It wasn't me.
And then
It's
in
a
the
trilogy.
last one,
It was a trilogy. It was the only horror movie one that they did with that Bravo show where they helped upcoming directors make movies.
And then
there's
at the end
Feast
of the
2 and
third
Feast
one,
3. Okay.
at the
I'm gonna
end
watch
of
it.
the third one, all of a sudden, giant robot.
Well, the twist I was talking about, Honky, was the do you remember the brunette girl that was kind of nerdy and was just kind of following along with the blonde?
The lab assistant.
Oh,
yeah, the lab assistant.
I
Marine.
don't think there was any character in there that I actually remembered besides the fat bald guy who was screaming over the radio, and I wanted him to die anyways. So
the Marine lab assistant that admitted that she knew absolutely nothing about weapons.
So it turns around that she was in on the whole thing and was there to protect the project when they get to the mainframe. She pulls a gun on the blonde in the tank top and is about to shoot her, and then there's one of the other soldiers drops in behind her and just blows her away, shoots her in the head. But she was kind of part of that project. She needs to protect it.
Shoots her in the head. I thought they didn't know anything about guns.
She supposedly didn't. Although, you know, Marines, even lab assistants, have to go through basic training.
Like I said, if it wasn't for that hot blonde in the tank top, I would have never watched this all the way through. But now, what did y'all think about the design of the Universal Soldier itself?
Horrible.
Yeah, it was pretty dumb.
It kind of reminded me of a Borg a little bit, like the face, metal stuff on the face. But what was really stupid was its vision, how it sees, just those red and black lines and a bunch of random numbers that didn't mean anything on there.
Another thing that got me, this movie was made in, 2007?
Yeah.
Did you notice that all of the computers were running Windows 3.1?
What? Really? I didn't notice that at all.
It sure looked like Windows 3.1.
There's no way. Why would they do that?
Why not?
Based on their budget, I would assume they were paid to take them away for recycling.
So me and Honky talked about making a new rule. We'll call it the Universal Soldiers rule.
No asylum films.
No more asylum productions.
I'm sorry I picked this one. I really am, but
No.
I had no clue that it was this crap burger. And we were supposed to pick movies that we hadn't seen, so I was trying to do that.
Yeah, that's what happens. I mean, that's part of the deal. I mean, you never know what you're going to get into, so it just happens. I'm just glad it wasn't me who picked it. I've been roasted before.
As a hot mess, this comes up close to the guys who are checking out the fish in the cooling pool of the Chernobyl nuclear reactor.
Yeah, I would rate it like that.
This is not a hot mess. This is a radioactive Chernobyl class hot
Yeah.
mess.
Like
Yeah, it is.
the very first review on IMDb says, "Bad, bad, bad, bad movie. Warning," in all caps. "Do not watch!" Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! If a negative vote would be possible, I surely would give one to this film. Bad dialogue, bad acting, and no story. I'm not a big fan of Jean-Claude Van Damme, but I liked the first Universal Soldier. The second was okay, but this one was horrible. So they made the mistake of thinking this was actually connected to those movies.
And I don't know. I assume you guys we all watched the same copy, but like the audio quality in the middle of the movie in like certain sections just went to crap.
It was weird. It's like in the beginning of the movie, it sounded like it was overdubbed almost, and then in the end, it just sounded real bad. Like maybe they tried to fix it by overdubbing in the middle. I don't know. It was strange, but
Yeah, I put this in the crappy movie category right up there with Birdemic, and I'd prefer to watch Birdemic.
No, it's at least this is a real movie. Even if it's bad, it's an actual movie.
Look,
Birdemic
is so bad that it's almost worth watching.
Well, yeah. Now I will give you that. This. You know how a lot of movies are so bad they're good just because it's ironic. This is not even in that class. This is like you just don't waste your time like Honky didn't do. It's bad idea. So I'm going to give this a thumbs down.
This makes Gunhead look good.
Yeah.
I would actually rather watch Gunhead. I made it through all of Gunhead. I couldn't do this. I just couldn't.
So is this the first movie you couldn't make it all the way through?
Absolutely. I watch Psycho Gorman though.
Oh,
Psycho Gorman was good.
Yeah,
Psycho Gorman was a crazy freaking movie.
It's pretty
but
great,
it was good.
Yeah.
It was completely disjointed, but it was still completely worth watching.
That was a very clear plot throughout the whole thing. Yeah. I still disagree with you, Joe.
I still enjoy the fact of okay, I won't kill your family, and then he goes and kills the rest of the people on the planet. What they're sitting there watching the news, giant purple man destroys everything. Yeah.
So you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it
was entertaining. At least
it was
wasn't
an
boring.
entertaining movie.
Yeah,
it was definitely an entertaining movie, and just the fact that they played her stupid game at the end was fantastic too.
Yeah, I like that kid, that little girl. She made the movie. It's a little smart ass.
That was very entertaining.
So should we vote on this movie? Did anybody gonna surprise me with the thumbs up here? What about you, Mordency? Oh, okay. Thumbs down from me. This gets
P.U.
0 stars. That's too bad. We can't win them all. Lovecraft said in the chat earlier that he had to speed up the movie to get through it. So
I was debating that, but it wasn't even worth it.
Well, I have the next movie picked. Unfortunately, it's not the one I wanted, but
Is it Bell?
I still want to watch that Dark Web movie.
Oh, the other one, yeah.
Is it Bell?
Well, we'll find out after the drum roll.
What did you say you still wanted to watch?
Bell.
No, he said Dark Web.
Oh, I still want to watch that Dark Web movie that we haven't seen, since the first one was so great. Alex Rider, Project Strombreaker from 2006. I've never heard of this movie.
I think I've already seen it.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, there's also a Disney series, Alex.
Alex Rider. Strombreaker.
I think his dad's a secret agent and dies, and he kind of takes over as a teenager.
Oh, they even have a video game.
Oh, I think that was something different.
Theatrical poster looks okay.
Okay, the movie is just called
Got Mickey
Stormbreaker.
Rourke in
Strombreaker
it.
2006.
Oh, it does have Mickey Rourke in it. Huh.
Alicia Silverstone.
After the death of his uncle, the 14-year-old schoolboy Alex Ryder is forced by the Special Operations Division of the UK Secret Intelligence Service MI6 into a
McGregor?
mission which will save millions of lives. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, to just put a 14-year-old kid into a mission that would save millions of lives. All right, I'm going to snatch it and put it in here.
Do you have it?
I am getting it. It'll be in the Matrix chat in a couple minutes. Well, you can't win them all, guys. But that's what makes it fun. It's like Russian roulette. You never know.
This is well, this is a an interesting movie.
Oh, have you seen it? Never mind.
Wasn't this your recommendation?
It is. There's a lot of computers in it.
All right. We got a netminer wreck here. All right. 2006. Yep. Mm-hmm. All right. So, while that's getting posted, what have you guys been up to, technology-wise?
Me, I've been doing a lot of 3D printing. A lot of 3D printing. And I started working on that next set of Bluetooth stuff like I said I was going to.
Well, what is your printer? Ender Pro 2 or
Yeah, the Ender Pro V, or the Ender 3 V2.
V2?
It's not the Pro. I don't think the Ender Pro V2 is out yet.
Okay.
So I've got two different versions of the new set of Bluetooth that I'm working on. So this one's really simple. There was the only 3D printed part is the neck band, and it works pretty well. And it was just a proof of concept one, and then I've got stage 2 made. It's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit bulkier. The next one should be more streamlined and thin. 3D printed casing. I have not put in the larger battery yet. I will. This one is made to be taken apart, so I can take the whole thing apart. But it does convert it to a 3.5 millimeter. I have a 3D printed band, 3D printed casing, and then the next one I'm going to lose the casing for the original casing, but I am going to use the original buttons, and that will take a lot more nuanced 3D design. So iteratively, it'll be worth it, but I do need some batteries. I am looking through my collection of stuff to see what I can do. I might put 2 batteries together and use it that way, just for the extended power. But I want to be careful with doing that. I have picked up a whole bunch of really low-cost spring clips because I have found them to be extremely useful, either in holding stuff together or into modifying them so that they can take a 1/4-inch bolt. And like I 3D printed a keyboard stand using these and a 1/4-inch bolt. So with 2 of these together, I'm able to take my keyboard and have it set right there at the end of my little table.
Oh, nice.
So also, it's really good for my 1GX, which last show I think I was talking about reprinting the USB holder for us, which I did, and I printed. I don't think I have it handy, but the Razer Jungle Cat controls, I did redo the case or redo the print for that so that it'll fit into the slots here, and that worked really well.
Are you using that new software you were talking about?
No, I'm still trying to learn that. I'm still using Tinkercad for.
What was it called?
Oh,
I was trying to think of
gosh.
it the other day. I know it's not Fusion 360. It's another one. Starts with an
Can't even
N.
remember. I had it installed, but I couldn't get it working right because it wanted me to sign in. So
Was it an app image, or how did you end up installing it?
Yeah, it was an app image, so it's not. I can't even remember it at this point, so couldn't have been that important.
Yeah, it looked interesting.
Yeah, I will remember it or I won't. OpenShot. No, it wasn't OpenShot. It was It was something I had found a tutorial on, so I do have it bookmarked in my YouTube, but I will have to find it later. Yeah, there you go. Onshape.
Yeah. I think
Oh.
we figured out that they didn't have a Linux version of that Fusion 360, I don't think.
Right.
But Onshape did. And as long as
then,
it's just personal use, you can use it for free, right? Onshape.
Right. There were some limitations, like everything you make gets shared.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's not a big deal. I would do that anyway.
Yeah. This is a cup holder adapter that makes it so that my 40-ounce coffee cup is, I can use it, my chair here. Here it is. Because my 64-ounce one broke, I had to go and buy a 40-ounce one. Got this, and now I can use it in my chair right there, just like that.
You had a 64-ounce cup?
Yeah, my TARDIS one.
Half gallon?
Yeah, my TARDIS one, and yeah, whole pot of coffee.
You would drink 64 ounces of coffee?
Yeah.
Holy crap. You do
Go
that
back
too,
for
Mortency?
more.
Not anymore. I'm almost caffeine free now.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure I drink more I used to drink more caffeine than Joe, and I understand how much caffeine Joe drinks.
A lot. But we both have sleep disorders, so it's not all that surprising.
Now, what is your preferred way to intake caffeine, Joe? Before you get to your next
Monster coffee.
Monster?
Yeah, I do like Monster. It's just easier than coffee, but I do really enjoy coffee as well.
I love coffee in the morning.
Also, I picked up an 8-bit dough. I've talked about it in a couple other shows. I don't think I talked about it on this one.
No, you haven't.
But one of the 3D printing things that I was watching was mentioning how the right stick always breaks on the 8-bit dough. And so, and how they had to create an STL and replace the lever in it. And so I figured there must be a whole bunch of broken ones out there, because if they break that easy, then, you know, people are probably selling them broken. I found one on eBay that was broken, and that was it. And it was on auction, and I won the auction for 99 cents.
Oh,
Nice.
Great.
But it was like $10 shipping, and then with tax and everything, I think it came out to like $12, $13, something like that. So then I get the controller, and it's in perfect condition. But it is a Bluetooth controller, but this is also it should have a dongle, but it didn't come with the dongle. So that's not a big deal. I'm more than happy to use it Bluetooth. And so I did 3D print. Well, I 3D printed the switch, or the trigger and the mechanism and everything, and was ready to put it in as soon as it got here, and then everything worked just fine. But I did 3D print this model here to attach my phone to the top of it. Now, the original 3D print had this really like complicated phone mount that you had to put together and everything. So instead, what I did was I took one of the models there and I redesigned it so that it would hold a heat set insert that was 1/4 inch, and then I just ran a bolt through this prepackaged, nothing dollar cost phone mount, and it works perfect. Phone fits right on it. Comes out, it worked out great. And there's like a whole series of these. These are like GoPro mount 3D prints that someone made. And so I downloaded a whole bunch of them. And I do have one that's completely put together, and then I've modified several to hold the heat set inserts. And like I just printed out these thumb screw adapters, these wing nut adapters for M5 bolts. So to make it easier to open and close, and then like there's arms, there's well, one of these is the bottom mount. There's also a top mount that goes along with it. And then there's an adapter to completely switch directions. Yeah, here is the other end where I put in the heat set insert. That's just a GoPro style mount. And then you can see where the nut or the bolt goes in there and holds. And then I do have one that is finished that I do use on occasion on my chair over here, and you can see I just put well, this is actually a 3D printed phone holder that I printed out from someone else's design, and it just screws and unscrews. There's quite a bit of gluing involved and a couple of bolts that are in it, and then that's purchased. This is basically a gender bender adapter, male to male. So it slots into the heat set insert that I have in there, and then this just mounts to the mount that I already have on the side of my chair that's specifically for a phone holder or a mic holder. I also have adapters to make it so that it'll just hold up my mic, which I'll probably start using my other mic when since the fan doesn't need to be on all the time.
Well, to all the listeners, make sure you tune into YouTube later.
Yeah.
To check out these designs Joe has. It's very interesting.
So, yeah, and I did like I said, I 3D designed the piece that takes the heat set insert for those. I 3D designed the same thing with the 8-bit DOE, which turned itself on for some reason. And
how do you like that controller?
It's actually a really good controller. I like how it works, and it works great on my phone. And I have not tried it on Batacera yet, but I'm sure it'll work fine there. The razors work great on, well, they worked great on my phone. I still have those adapters, so I can switch it back and forth between my phone and the 1GX. And the razors work really well on the 1GX, especially when they're hooked up and you can hold the whole thing up like your GPD Win that you had.
Mm-hmm.
Except they're off to the side instead of up at the top. And I think last time I did talk about the $1.99 PS2 or PlayStation 2 style controllers that I picked up at Micro Center. Those work great. And let me see what else I've 3D designed lately, other than the Bluetooth box with the 3.5 millimeter adapter. So it is converted to 3.5 millimeter. And then I've made a smaller version of the cup holder adapter because this used a lot of plastic, took a long time to print, and is basically just too large. So I made that smaller. Other than that, that's been all of my designs lately. I did try and print out some There's another set of adapters for the GoPro set that is like the ball and hinge style, like you see for a lot of your phone mounts, so that way it can be really articulated and 360 degrees of movement. But that print hasn't come out right yet. I need to adjust the settings quite a bit to make it work correctly.
Is it the way the ball fits in the socket that you're trying
Yeah,
to get?
it's an all-in-one print, so I have
Oh,
to. I'm gonna have to. I don't want to use up too much plastic doing it, but there are certain portions of it that will need to be 100% infill. Then I'm also going to have large portions of it that don't have supports, and then there are certain portions of it that will need supports. So I'm really going to have to tweak the Cura settings to get that just right.
Can I recommend to you 3D printers a project which is a great example of the uses of 3D printing?
sure.
On YouTube, there's a guy who's using 3D printing to help prototype parts of an AK-50.
I've been watching a lot of the 3D printed gun stuff lately. See the state of things.
Like to print the lower?
Print the whole gun.
Actual,
Whole gun?
yeah, well, he's getting proof of concept stuff because it's easier to 3D print stuff than it is to do it in steel.
Oh, for proof of concept I can see, but wouldn't you just want a milling machine for the eventual final design? I guess you'd need a rifling machine and a lathe too, maybe.
Well, by the way, the AK-50 is a semi-automatic 50 Browning rifle. So using an much upscaled AK-47 style receiver and action and operating system.
50 caliber, right?
Yeah, 50 Browning, yes.
The state of 3D printing an entire gun isn't that good yet. Adding your own metal parts, including barrel and things like that. It's definitely not perfect for, especially for like our entry-level printers or anything like that. But it is coming along and will be there eventually.
I wonder would you use nylon, something like that?
Carbon fiber? You
Carbon
can print
fiber?
carbon fiber.
Well,
I'm not sure.
Well, what he's doing is making the parts, getting the shape. These are basically
Prototyping, yeah.
the modeling for in 3D materials for what will eventually be cast or machined in steel.
Right.
And I did find this really cool print, also recommended by one of the YouTube videos that I watched. No, I couldn't find it again. Saved my life. But it's a figure of the Mandalorian. Takes about 6 hours to print. No infill, no supports. Just make sure you use like 4 walls, and it comes out great.
Looks cool.
What are you going to do with it? You going to paint it?
I probably won't paint it, but there are people in my family that are that artistically inclined. One of them is going to get mailed to a friend in Florida. So I think the orange, you can really, it really highlights the detail a lot better than the black, but I think the black doesn't really need to be painted, so it'll probably go with my other ones with Grogu and Yoda and Hulk.
Oh, mailing that.
I've had luck mailing them before.
Well, yeah, it just looks kind
It's actually
kind of
really solid.
kind of risky with my. But then again, I don't know 3D printing. It just I've had so much screwed
As long
up
as
by
it's not
the
like in direct sunlight, it should be good. But yeah, there's a lot of other things that I 3D printed as well, and it's probably not worth mentioning all of them. I had 3D printed like a second Vice. I can't find my gray one, so I printed one in black. There's a lot.
Okay, I found the Mpows with the
Dongle.
dongle. I'll put it in the show notes.
And those were the 8-bit controllers, right? You had?
Yeah, 8-bit dough.
But the 8-bit DOS had the you had to buy that dongle separately.
Some of them, yes, you can. They sell like 3 different versions, I think. There's one that's wired, and then there's one that's Bluetooth, and then there's one that's 2.4 gigahertz and Bluetooth, I think.
These are $15.99 free shipping.
They're a decent headset. I have to look at the 8-bit dough website again. I know those were $45 controllers.
The movie is in the Matrix channel. Forgot about that.
That's a $49 controller for the 8-bit dough Pro 2 Bluetooth.
What about you, Hunky? How was your trip?
Good. Very good.
Did you notice any storm damage?
Yeah, I posted some of the pictures that I saw on
Yeah.
Matrix there. There was a lot of so my parents bought a place just a little bit north of Fort Myers, a little place where the modular homes, and a lot of them had like metal carports, and a lot of the metal carports had kind of ripped it away, and they were just basically dragging the metal out to the side of the road, and people were picking up the scrap metal and piling them up for money.
Did they have anything closed at Disney World?
No, Disney was fine.
Hmm.
A lot of the, when you drive past signs and stuff, and they're all lit up, so they'll have like the plastic in front of the with the lights behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the plastic parts were all blown away, so you just see an outline of what the signs were before, and then just see like the lights. I showed you the pictures of those boats. There was a bunch of them that looked like they were all piled up on the side. And then there was one where I wish I had taken a picture of it, but there was one that was like a sailboat that was like out in the woods. But yeah,
my brother lived around Fort Myers, and every hurricane season we would look, and although when he was there, he was lucky. Most of the storms would decide that they didn't like his neighborhood, and they would go north, or they would go south, or they would go east or west. So it was sort of like he was the central square of tic-tac-toe, and
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I asked my grandmother why people, when they were told that there was a hurricane coming, why they didn't pull their boats out of the water, and she said it's like the crying wolf. I mean, it seems like every couple of weeks they tell them that there's a hurricane coming. If they keep on yanking the things out of the water, they'll never either A, be in the water, or B, they're gonna be paying to pull these things out of the water all the time. So most people left them in, and then they got tossed all about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, so around Fort Myers, I saw a little bit of damage and stuff. Around where my grandmother lives, there was a lot of like tree branches down and stuff, but then they lost power for a while. But they made it through okay. Disney was great, a lot of fun.
What did you see in Disney? Did you go to the Star Wars thing?
We didn't do, what is the one, the Rise of the Resistance. That one had lines were too long for it, but we went to we did the Millennium Falcon one, and then they had another one that was cool by the Star Wars. Millennium Falcon one was set in the Millennium Falcon, and it went all about, and like one person, there's two people who were supposed to be driving, and then there was two people who were supposed to be the gunners. They had another one where you were put into like a little pod, and then you were escaping from stormtroopers and stuff and being shot at. You're in a little ship being driven by C-3PO. That was fun. Yeah, there was a lot of fun. I did the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. That was basically a lot of story build up to the actual ride happening so fast that had some sort of a story going, but then they just kind of whipped you around in the dark for a while, and then told you that everything was great afterwards. But it was still fun. I mean, I wanted to go on roller coasters where they whip you around a lot, and they did. I found several of them there, so it was great.
Did you get to see Mickey?
No.
Never saw Mickey?
No. A lot of the characters they had them in like specific spots, and either A, they would walk over to those spots and then they'd kind of form a line, and then you get to go see them, or they had areas like, it was almost like you thought it was a ride where you'd go over there and then all it was just to go see the characters.
What about how was Marvel represented at Disney World?
The only thing Marvel represented was the Guardians of the Galaxy one. Yeah. Yeah, Star Wars has its own little area and 3 rides. But the area looks really cool.
Did you get a lightsaber?
God, no. That wasn't spending money for a little lighted up stick.
Not when you can 3D print one.
Right? Really wanted one that bad. I just 3D print it. But I didn't care about that. I know they have other places where you could buy like little droids or whatever. I didn't see where you can build your own droid, but I heard those are expensive too, so I don't know.
Did you go into the haunted house?
Haunted Mansion? Yeah. That's a staple.
You know, that I went to that when I was a kid. That's been there forever.
Yeah.
Do they have It's a Small World?
They did, but I didn't go on it. But oddly enough, the line for that was really long.
Really?
From my understanding, it hasn't changed at all in like since it opened up.
At least 40 years.
Right? But we basically opened and nearly closed all 4 parks. So we did Magic Kingdom. We were there at like just before 8 o'clock in the morning, and we left there at about 10 o'clock at night. Park actually closes at 11, but we were there till 10, and like we saw the fireworks and stuff at the castle, and then we hightailed it over to Pirates of the Caribbean, did that, and then we went over to Splash Mountain and did that at like 10 o'clock at night.
Do they have Epcot Center still?
Oh yeah, that's where Cosmic Rewind is.
Oh, okay.
Yep. They had some good ones there. They had one called Soren, where they take you're in this little thing, and they put you, basically just bring you up, and so you're off the ground and right in front of a giant screen, and they make it feel like you're flying around.
Any VR stuff?
No.
Well, not really, but they do have a lot of projection stuff where you're like sitting in a ride and like thing is moving up and down and they're blowing wind and water at you, and then 360 panoramic projection.
That's pretty much all their rides.
That's VR.
Well, it's not like, all right, I was thinking more VR, like VR headset. They slap something on your head and you can look like you're walking around. But yeah, but those were a lot of the rides were kind of like that. I mean,
any projects?
I guess that's a cheap and safe way to do things while still giving you the experience.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Not really, no. There was two things I started working on, and I'm surprised I'm having such a hard time with them. One is, I wanted to get the audio stream, which, it's getting pretty close to the end of the year. I want to get the audio stream going again, set up again for the New Year's show. And I've been having a hard time getting that, getting a URL for that and making it public. So I'm going to play with that a little bit more. And I wanted to, while I was away, expose my my Jellyfin server.
Your genitals?
Yes, expose my genitals. Wander around, just kind of flop them in the breeze.
Disney World.
Yeah. Yeah, the Jellyfin server, and I couldn't get that one to work right either, and I have no idea why that wouldn't. I'm thinking it's just a
proxy issue. You using NPM?
Yeah, I'm using NPM, and I'm surprised if it's a proxy issue. But
you can access it locally, IP, right?
Oh yeah.
Local. Or what else could it be? Unless there's some kind of configuration that has trusted proxies within the application, you have to put in your proxy server IP or something. I have a couple applications like that.
I think there might be some with Jellyfin. There might be some settings in Jellyfin like that. Yeah.
And make sure you got WebSockets open.
Sound like an idiot here. First time. Can you explain a proxy server?
Yeah, it's so you know how you forward a port to access your whatever application you have through your router, Yeah. So instead of just forwarding that port to the internet, you would forward it to your separate server, say running Nginx or Apache. Forward the port and the IP address, and what the proxy server does is it enables you to encrypt the connection using Let's Encrypt is what I use. Most people use, I guess. And also to attach DNS to it so you have an actual web domain instead of just a random IP address, port number. So it does that. That's its main thing, but it does a lot of other stuff too. Like it protects against different kinds of attacks.
Okay, so
It does to where you have to use SSL. You can enable that in it, so that whoever connects cannot connect over a just a HTTP connection. What else does it do? It does. It has WebSocket support. So usually, like media stuff, you need some kind of WebSocket open.
using like a DigitalOcean droplet to connect your proxy to.
Yeah, you can do that. You can also cache stuff via the proxy. So somebody's not constantly pulling the same elements from whatever application you're running. It'll cache them there. So, it'll cache them on the proxy side, and that helps with traffic and stuff. It supports like when I do matrix through npm. I have to make sure that in order for federation to work so that other servers can be seen, it's going to point to my parent domain name, which is minnix.dev, instead of matrix.minnix.dev. So my matrix address for my personal account is minnix : minnix.dev instead of minnix : matrix.minnix.dev. And that's all configured through the proxy itself. Oh no, there's a crap load of stuff you can do via proxy. Most of it is kind of foreign to me, but the main thing you want when exposing anything to the internet is encryption. You don't want to expose it just over HTTP.
That
And
is
it handles all that.
It's helpful for it too, especially if you're exposing stuff on your home network you're only pointing it to the one the npm server as opposed to pointing it randomly to all sorts of things, opening all sorts of other ports.
Right. So with npm or with your proxy manager, you're only exposing 443 usually, which is an encrypted port, instead of exposing, say, I don't know, like what does audiobook shelf run on? It's like 13.370 something. So you don't have that random port open on your router, or whatever port 13.378. So it is whatever ports these applications use. You don't want to just start opening up a bunch of ports on your router. You all want them running through 443, which is your default, HTTPS port. Yeah, I would recommend.
Okay, maybe it's something for me to try in the future.
Yeah, anytime you want to expose any application to the internet, it should be encrypted. Now, as far as domains go, I think you have an ASUS router, right? And
Yeah, I
think
use
doesn't
it.
that give you one
Yeah.
domain?
I have a DNS with that.
Yeah.
Use it.
Do you get subdomains, or is it just one subdomain?
I think it's just the one.
So, if you good thing about proxies too is that you can have multiple subdomains or regular domains, within it. All I'll use is subdomains within my, connected to my main domain. But I recommend Nginx Proxy Manager for sure. Makes everything super simple. Now, some applications, it has an advanced tab, which is it's for advanced configuration that you would put in there. Usually it's for like like locations, different locations that you want to point to. Like listen on this port or listen on that port, and stuff like that. You can add different paths like you would in Nginx to like different services. Say your web service runs like a web interface on one path, and then another path is like listening to media or however your media, like for Funkwell, however media is shared or whatever, on another path, and that can all be configured in the advanced tab. So it still has options for like custom configurations and things. And it sets it up to where it'll auto renew your SSL certs too, which is nice. You don't have to set up a cron job or anything. What else we got going on? I've got a new website. Well, I'm running my own Git repository now. I'm using Gittea, G-I-T. It's either G-I-T-T-E-A or G-I-T-E-A. I don't have any repos open right now, but it's just like GitHub, but you can host it yourself. It's open source, and you can share your repositories. You can make them private. Push and pull to your Git repo, and you can fork stuff. It's just like GitHub basically, and it runs in a Docker container. And so I need to start pushing all my code there and projects and stuff I work on. Gittea, I recommend it. It's started to become pretty popular. So if you want like a private repository and other people can sign up to it, you can allow registration and stuff like that, which is good if there's a big project, say you and a few other people are working on and don't want it exposed to the whole world. You can just have your own Git repo. Plus, you don't really, Microsoft owns GitHub now. You don't know what they do with your information, so you may want to own it yourself. Who knows? Me and Honky we federated each other on Funkwell.
Yep.
So I get to check out his library. He can check out my library.
Did you hear about Mastodon?
What about it?
Well, because of all the fun things that are going on with Twitter, evidently they got like 200,000 new.
Oh, really?
Knocked down like their main server for a short amount of time, but they did do some upgrading and up and running again.
I wonder if that's Mastodon.social. I think that's
Mastodon.social got brought.
Wow. I didn't even think about that, the whole exodus from Twitter once Elon bought it. Which, did you know that we talked about this in Matrix? Twitter has 7,500 employees. Was that surprising
Seemed like
to you?
much.
It doesn't?
For Twitter?
I mean, look at what Twitter does. It's just a message board, basically, that you can only post 80 characters. That just it kind of blew my mind. Why do you need 7,500 employees for a company like that?
Still a lot of infrastructure.
Because only 10% of the people do the work.
What are the other 90% doing there?
Making money.
Well, actually, it's Price's law. 10% of the people at a job perform half the work. The other 90% do the rest.
Now, they did say they have other projects, like they have a ethical AI lab and some other stuff, which I think Elon shut down recently. And I don't know a lot about Twitter. I never got into it, so. But I never bought into the whole town square argument for making these companies publish what you want them to publish, because it's not town square. It's not the only option. Just because a lot of people use it doesn't mean that's the only place you can voice your opinion. Just like Facebook. I mean, look at Facebook now. It's all just moms, nobody, old people. It's not kids using Facebook anymore. They've always switched to TikTok and Snapchat, and stuff like that. So, whatever people say about this is the town square or that should be a public space, it's not. It's always going to be something new around the horizon. And so that argument just doesn't hold water.
What is the argument? I don't.
The argument is that these companies should not be able to censor what is posted on their servers because it is now because it has so many users is now considered a default town square. For example, it's like if you went to a park and put up a soapbox and decided to voice your opinions, political or whatever, the state shouldn't be able to shut you down since you're in a public place and you pay taxes for this public place, blah, blah, blah. That's the argument. But so people were getting censored on Twitter and Facebook, and their argument was, well, because so many people use it, this is the default digital town square now. And so for you to censor us is akin to government censorship. But it's not. Because for one thing, it's privately owned. I mean, it's private servers. And for another thing, it's not even the default digital town square. I mean, there's so many other options out there. Like I said, new ones are popping up all the time. And if you really want your voice heard, you still have all these other options to do it on, So it's just a bad argument. It's not a sound argument.
It's a product. You use the product. The people who own the product get to choose how the product is being used.
Exactly.
You don't like it, they can kick you off the product. They have a user license agreement that you checked off when you joined whatever that product is. If you're not following their rules, they get to kick you off. That's all it is.
But the thing that kind of irritates me is people are worried about this. But those same people say nothing about all the data that's being collected behind the scenes of their lives, basically, that they post online. Are you okay with the way these companies buy and sell your data, that you're willingly contributing to these companies, and what they do with your data, and how they build social profiles on you and target you especially, and they have these whole algorithms that can basically figure out every aspect of your life just based on what you post online. And I mean, that's not a concern to anybody, but I can't say the N-word online and all of a sudden I'm being oppressed by this company. Come on. The oppression has nothing to do with what you want to say. It has to do with how you're being manipulated, and how your digital life is basically being bought and sold. It's never free. So my advice is jump to something that you can host yourself, something that's open source, something where they can't pull these shenanigans behind the scenes, this data collection and all that stuff, and you'll be better off for it. I've been using Mastodon for a long time now, and I'm really happy with it. And I don't have to worry about any of that crap. I can post whatever I want to. Don't have to worry about censorship if that's my deal. I don't have to worry about some nefarious corporation collecting my data and building a profile on me. I don't have to worry about any of that crap. Same with Instagram. Same with Facebook. Get away from all that crap. It's bad for you anyway. There's alternatives to everything, open source alternatives. And if your argument is, well, nobody else uses them, well, you could be one of the few. And it's what do they say? The longest journey starts with a single step. So get the word out that there's alternatives. You join, convince other people to join, let them convince other people. And Matt, like Joe said, 200,000 users just joined Mastodon recently. That's not a small figure for an open source project,
I think it just as a general rule, not posting large amounts of crap that you don't want. Not posting large amounts of crap would be probably a good idea. don't post anything that's personal videos, photos, or at
Don't
least
don't tell the whole world you're on vacation. And next thing you know, when you come home, all your shit is gone.
Right.
There's a lot of oversharing on social
Right.
networks.
Right.
I agree with that for sure.
Like, I'm actually on Facebook, but I haven't posted anything ever. I went on. I actually haven't even bothered looking at it in forever because nobody else is on it anymore either. I used to have it. I went on it so I could keep it. I was tired of my wife knowing more about my family than I did. So I joined, and then I friended my family, and then most of my family left. Yeah.
So
no, I still use Facebook Marketplace. It's still a great place to
yeah, I was about to bring that
find
up.
things.
So like, Craigslist is almost dead when it comes to buying stuff. It's been replaced by Facebook Marketplace, at least local, to buy local stuff. And so I use it for that. And then I was forced to actually make a post. I wasn't forced, but out of desperation, I made a post because my cat ran away last week, and I was like in a panic, So I posted it into this Paw Boost, I think is the name of the service, and they posted it on their page, and it just gives details about the animal and stuff. And it was a flyer I had made that had sent to the vet and sent to the different vets and animal services around. And so I did that, and that's the first actual post I've made in I don't know how many years, besides marketplace stuff. And what do you know? I started getting calls, texts, random texts on my phone from scammers saying, "I found your cat." And I was like, "Really?"
Pay me money.
I was like excited. "Really? You found my cat?" So first thing I do, I call the number, and the number says, "This is a internet texting service. This is not a calling service. You can't make phone calls." So that's the first red flag. Second red flag, they said, I got your cat, but I need to make sure you are who you say you are. I'm going to send you a 6-digit number. I need you to read it back to me." So it's like, that's weird. Okay, go ahead and send it. So I get a message from Google saying, "This is a verification, 6-digit verification code. Do not share this with anybody." And then I get a message back from, "Did you get the code?" And I said, "No, I didn't get a code." They said, "Well, I'll send it again." So they sent it again, said the same thing. Asked me, "Did you get the code?" I said, "No, I didn't get a code." I said, "Do you have my cat or not?" And they said, "Yeah, I'll send you pictures of your cat. Just send me that code." I said, "Well, I don't have a code." And they said, "Well, take a screenshot of all your text messages and send it to me." So I was like, this is bullshit. So it's just people are pure evil sometimes. There's these scammers out there that prey on people that are kind of in desperate situations, and so that's if you ever have in that situation where you post something on Facebook with your phone number on it, get ready for some scammers to contact you. But I can see people falling for that are just so upset, they lost their pet, and this person claims to have their pet. They saw the number on their flyer. Buster. Yeah, this little rascal, so last Monday we had big storms in the area, and I opened the door just to look at the rain, and before I know it, he just darts out the door, like just took off so fast I couldn't even see which way he went into the rain. And I was like, what the hell? So I was thinking, well, he can't go far. So I get my shoes on and my flashlight. It was at night, and I look everywhere all night for him. I can't find him. And I'm just like, damn it, he's never done anything like this before. He's not an outdoor cat, so I don't know if he can find his way home. He doesn't have any claws on his front paws, so he's defenseless basically. Whoever had him before had him declawed. And so I'm kind of like pretty depressed about it. And so that's when I posted on there. I made these flyers and everything. And somebody actually gave me a good tip. They said, you need to, if you have one, either if you have one or go buy one, motion activated camera and put it outside, put his blanket outside with some food or whatever, and then see if he comes back. So that's what I did, and that's exactly what happened. Late the next night, I get a notification on my phone after midnight, and I look and I see his little furry head out there is eating his treats, and I open the door and voila, he's standing there. I say, "You little bastard, get your ass in here. Don't ever do that again." I go back and look at the video, which I didn't notice when I opened the door, but he had another cat buddy with him. I think it was a female cat, and she must have taken off right when I opened the door because I didn't see her. But this little guy, he is, I don't know, man. I don't know how you can get attached to such a little bastard like this, but you can. So, I'm glad he's back. I took him to the vet. After that, he was so dirty. I guess he'd been under a car or something. Washed him off with a washcloth, took him to the vet, make sure everything was cool. He had a broken tooth, like one of his fangs was broken. I guess he had gotten in a fight or bit on a rock or something, so he's got to have that removed. Other than that, he's okay.
Good.
So.
Not going to get him a little fake tooth?
I want to get my little gold tooth. I asked the vet, "Can I get a little gold tooth?" She said, "No, but we'll just have to remove it." I said, "All right, that sucks." Give him a little grill. Can start a rap group. What else am I working on? Oh, so I've been messing with microcontrollers at the makerspace that shall not be named. I met a guy, real cool guy named Brady, and he's got me back into microcontrollers. He gave me a Raspberry Pi 0W, or I mean, what is it? Raspberry Pi Pico W. That's what it is, Pico W. So the Wi-Fi microcontroller, and then I have some 8266s, which are the ESP01S, the Espressif microcontrollers, and I had a UART adapter that I burned out, and so I went to Micro Center. I was going to tell you all this. Micro Center has gone crazy with their Inland brand of stuff. Like, they have so many products that are now Inland brand. Like, they even had the microcontroller Inland brands, the 8266s, and they had the UART connection. Like, I bought a UART connector, or it's not really UART, it's FTTD or something, but it's neat because you can put the microcontroller in it, and then it's got a switch on the back where you can set to boot mode or run and loading mode. So if you need to either boot it up and get into a shell, or if you're trying to move firmware to the microcontroller, you can do it with this little switch. And it was like $7. It was a pretty good deal, and you get a microcontroller with it. So Wi-Fi microcontroller. So I bought a couple of those, and then they had what else? They had a little kit that was on sale that comes with the breadboard and a bunch of resistors and diodes and some tiny sensors and another ESP8266 ESP01S microcontroller, and I got that too, and it's pretty cool. So I'm really getting, my whole plan is I want to build a plant watering station, like based on these. Oh, let me grab this box because I just got this package from AliExpress. I bought these soil moisture sensors. We had talked about this on the last show. That I don't think Honky was on that show, but I got these soil moisture sensors, and if you're watching the stream, you get to see what I'm talking about. But they come with, they were super cheap. They were like $1, and they come with the adapter board and like everything you need, with the resistor on it. And I think some are 5 volts, some are 3.3, and but they're just $1. And so you can see this one is cool. Why did Buster stood on my dang laptop? Oops, I need to put it back. Okay, so this one, if you can see, this one even has So it's got the moisture sensor itself, which just kind of goes into the soil like that. But it also shows you, has a 7 segment display on it that shows you the voltage right there. So whenever it's wet, you get, a different voltage than whenever it's dry. And it's got a little relay right here too. So if you wanted to turn off and on like a pump, to water the plant, it's all in one like that, which is like what I was wanting to build. And it's got these little reset buttons and stuff like that. So I thought that was cool. And then the other ones I got are just kind of these basic sensors. They have this kind. These are made for outdoor. They're so cheap. I just bought different ones. Buster thinks it's a bunch of treats I'm opening, so he's running over here. So they have this one. It's a little more sturdy like that, and it just comes with the connector, and then it's got these little pins for like a GPIO stuff like that. But yeah. So I got a bunch of these little things I can play around with, and so I looked into the Netminer had talked about the solenoid valves last time, and I looked into those, and those are really cheap on there too. I can get some of those, or I could get the solenoid manifold, which has a bunch of valves on it, all connected to a relay that you can open each one individually. So whichever plant needs water, the soil moisture sensor, the microcontroller is always reading these readings from the soil moisture sensor, and if it detects the soil moisture go below a certain level, then you can open open that relay, or power up that relay and open up that solenoid valve, and then get water to the plant. So this is my little project I'm working on now, and that's all. I'm using MicroPython for the code. And I got that running on the 8266. And my main project now is trying to get Jupyter Lab to interface with the microcontrollers themselves. So there's a special kernel a MicroPython kernel you can use with Jupyter. So if anybody doesn't know, Jupyter is a Python IDE that you can host on a server and then connect from a browser. But I'm trying to get that MicroPython kernel installed on Jupyter, and having issues because I installed Jupyter Lab with Unohost, and supposedly when you install stuff with Unohost, it's not exactly how you would install it manually. So there's different paths, variables, and stuff that I need to figure out before I can get it to get that MicroPython kernel installed. But once I do, if I can't get that work, I can just use Kate. Kate, the KDE text editor, makes a great IDE in itself. It has a Python terminal natively and all that stuff. Or I could always use one of the like Arduino IDEs to program the microcontrollers. What else? I think it's about the main Linux stuff I'm working on. Tomorrow I'm going to a Raspberry Pi meetup at Makerspace, and I'm going to bring that Pico W since I don't have any more Raspberry Pis. Or you know what I should bring is my original Raspberry Pi B Plus. See if maybe somebody up there can get it running.
Why? What's wrong with it?
Don't know. Just won't turn on. Maybe somebody up there will know why. It has the original, not the micro SD card, but the SD card that you slip in, and I think it's 512 RAM. I don't think it's I think the B plus was 512, and the A was 256. I think it's the B, model B plus or whatever. As far as other Linux stuff, I'm still working on my super secret covert AI project that I had teased last time. It should be ready to roll out by the next show, and hopefully everybody will get a kick out of that. So, what about Mordency? He's making a face over here that he did something wrong. Morton, you
No,
all
just
right?
just some pain. Salad and fried foods are giving me problems.
Oh,
They're hurting internally.
how's your overall health lately?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Still working too much. I'm trying to cut my hours closer to 40. I did update my daily laptop, my 7-year-old Think Penguin,
Yeah.
to Jammy Jellyfish,
Oh, the new Ubuntu.
the new long-term release. Yeah, I finally everything else in my house is current. For the most part, I keep everything up to date except my daily driver. I'm always hesitant to update them. I have an even older HP laptop in the basement. That's a few years older than that. Somebody, one of my friends, needed it for school. I think it had Vista on it, and they were going to throw it in the dumpster. They were so mad at the computer when their classes were done. And I was like, "Can I see if it runs?" I said, "Can I see if it runs Linux?"
Now, what were they mad about?
They're an Apple person. They just hated everything about Windows and the laptop.
Windows I can understand, but come on, laptop.
It's a cheap like $400 HP laptop.
Hmm.
I had several OSs running on it at the beginning, and then just took everything else off and kept it at Ubuntu, Xubuntu, with XFCE.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of GNOME since about 1997.
You know, I started out with GNOME with Fedora on this laptop I have now, and I didn't mind it too much until I got KDE, and then I thought, man, GNOME is not that great.
Never been a GNOME fan.
I was back in the early Red Hat days, like Red Hat 4.
GNOME 2, before GNOME 3.
When the default was the Enlightenment desktop. GNOME used Enlightenment as the backend. You could pick the desktop to go with the. You could pick the Windows manager to go with the GNOME desktop. So you could have different Windows managers.
What is everybody using for their main desktop now? What do you like, Morton?
So I have 2204 XFCE Ubuntu, and then Garuda on the PC that I'm trying to do graphic design on. I wouldn't say it's a daily driver because I'm struggling every time I use it. So, but Garuda is really slick. It's
it's an Arch distro.
You know how it's
like
an Arch
Garuda.
distro. It's even cooler than Manjaro in my opinion.
I like Garuda.
What's it running though? KDE?
Probably XFCE. I'd have to look.
Okay.
That's usually all I'll put on is XFCE.
Can you guess mine?
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
Nothing wrong with that. What about Honky?
Well, I got I was using KDE on the one here, but for whatever reason it wouldn't load up, so I killed it and put Manjaro Cinnamon on it. So I got Manjaro Cinnamon there. I try to use Enlightenment a lot, so this one is probably the longest running laptop. I've just been able to keep updating it. It's Manjaro. I think it was originally XFCE. No. Is that a Budgie or XFCE? And then I just installed Enlightenment on it, and I mostly just use Enlightenment. And then I have a Bunsen Labs over here that is doing most of the audio stuff right now. So Bunsen Labs is and now I completely forgot what it was.
Crunchbang?
Yeah, but it's running
OpenBox.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's running an open box.
What is Pop OS? That System 76. What do they use for their desktop
Was it GNOME?
manager?
It's Ubuntu, and I think the default is GNOME. They just take all the bug fixes that they've tried to send to Ubuntu over the years from all the
Mhm.
consumer complaints. They decided to fix them themselves and just bundle it into their own OS. But it's all the bug fixes that Ubuntu hasn't accepted. And I'm pretty sure the default is GNOME. I know a couple people that use it.
Now, Netminer, what are you a fan of? Do you have a favorite desktop manager? Or favorite desktop?
My favorite desktop is definitely XFCE.
So one of the things in the notes was actually that XFCE is getting an update. Is it XFCE 4.18 is going to be released?
It says Thunar gets more features.
Yep.
What kind of features do they get?
See here. Date and time. Thunar file manager. See. There is they added a recent icon to it. They added a split pane. So you have the split panes, but they also added it so you can it does the preview of an image. So you can actually do both split panes with an added with an image preview. They've added stuff to their settings where you can change up some of the preferences and change some of the shortcuts and add or remove shortcuts to the top. Show thumbnails and where you can show thumbnails. You can change it so you can show thumbnails only in local files. Only show thumbnails of a certain file size. You could specify transfer files in the panel. What is this? Sign pay tab. You get new options. The settings to embed or standalone preview. Furthermore, the behavior tab gets the output to restore tabs, startup, and show full directory path and new settings section. File transfer. New options to option to recursive search is also added to the tab. Also set Thunar to execute the shell script directly via the following option. They just added a bunch of settings to Thunar, which is good because I like Thunar. Actually, I actually added it to this one. So I'm running Enlightenment, but I'm using Enlightenment's file manager sucks. So you usually want to use adding Thunar, yeah. I like most of the Enlightenment stuff, but
What's it use? Dolphin?
No, Dolphin is only with KDE. Enlightenment has its own. It's called the Enlightenment window, the Enlightenment file manager, maybe. Yeah, it's just called the Enlightenment file manager. Pretty crappy.
This looks interesting. This Vanilla OS.
Yeah, that's why I added to there.
So he's the lead developer of Bottles. We talked about that before. It's kind of like makes wine easier.
Yep.
I like the way it looks. Very, what is that? UI element that Android uses. I can't remember what they call it, but it's real flat and modern looking. What is it based on? Vanilla OS.
Um,
Oh, Debian.
Post Debian experience. So it's basically somebody trying to take Debian and make it look cool. And they have it set up when you do the install. You can choose like what type of if you want to use Flatpak, snaps, app images, and the packaging. And I think it said it was using a different package manager. This comes with a new package manager, APX, that provides lightweight containerization format agnostic installation of software from different sources. In particular, APX is based on the work of DistroBox.
The UI is nice.
Was that?
I like the UI. It reminds me of that. What was that Convergent OS that was supposed to work across laptop and phone? Maui Shell or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it reminds me of. I don't even know if that's still around.
It was something different and it looked cool. So I figured I would share it.
Netminer, have you messed with any VMs lately? I know you wanted to get into that with your Raspberry Pi. Well, if you want to, Canonical has a tool called Multipass. Makes it easy to spin up VMs under Linux, Mac, or Windows. Most of the VMs in question are variations of Ubuntu, but there are some additional images available. You can create your own. So installation it relies on Snap. So Snap install Multipass. Make sure you're on a computer that can support VMs. You can use Multipass Find to find all the VMs that are running. You can use a default instance. So for instance, you would do Multipass Launch Bionic, which would install a Bionic Beaver Ubuntu VM that says default is 1 gigabyte of RAM and 5 gigabytes of disk storage and a single core. But you can pass options to it, like how many cores, memory, and and disk space. It's pretty cool. I mean, it looks like it makes it really easy to set up a VM. You control all the VMs with the start and stop, multipass stop, multipass start. It says it starts with a private network you can only access from the host machine. However, you can route traffic around if you need to do that. So if you just want to set up a VM super quickly, try out multipass if you don't mind snaps. Do some experimenting. Who here has a Chromebook? I think Morty has a Chromebook, yeah. Did you see this article about Denmark banning Chromebooks?
No, I did not.
Well, in the school system. So it says, this is according to Nextcloud's blog. Of course, they will post anything that will make Google look bad. It says, Danish Data Protection Agency bans Google Chromebooks. The ban was finalized this summer based on the concerning results of a risk assessment the DPA ordered last year. It proved that children's data was not being kept safe by Google and that the processing of personal data on Chromebooks is an infringement of several articles of the GDPR, which I don't know what that is. It must be some kind of privacy law that they have.
I think so.
So the solution, they had several solutions. One of them is, so this is for all the school kids in Denmark that are using Chromebooks. It says they formulated a plan to replace 8,000 Google Chromebooks. However, IT experts estimate this could come at a significant expense to the municipality, costing 30 million DDK, however many dollars that is. So their official IT professor advises solutions. He says, has called out for all municipalities to switch to open source solutions instead. He believes the installation of free Linux systems on the school's Chromebooks would be cost efficient and relatively easy to set up. Not only that, but the benefits of replacing the current Google operating system would greatly outweigh its limitations and skepticism. Benefits of switching to open source. Significantly less security problems. They would no longer be at risk of Google's data harvesting and transferring of data to unwanted sources like U.S. authorities. Less expensive bills. Open source, now this is something that all companies run into. Open source solutions are free to use and implementation of the new system would be much less costly. He says there's a dependency issue that many people have when you use closed source software. The case illustrates very convincingly how dependent you become on a particular technology once you have introduced it. Products that at first glance seem to be practical, easy, and cheap solutions may turn out to be useless because they do not comply with the rules, and then you have a problem if you have adapted your entire system to these products and have no plan B. Big tech giants create a lock-in strategy that keeps customers locked with them under the false assumption that there are no alternatives. And I think many companies fall into that trap, especially with Windows. I know at my company now, Windows has switched to not a per socket license, but a per core license for their software, which is pretty stupid, considering that we're not even using virtualization technologies. So we have one big server that runs one application, another big server that runs another application. So that gets really expensive really fast. And they're not talking about virtual cores, of course, they're talking about physical cores, but things like that make open source attractive, I think, compared to closed source. It says it's not overly complicated to replace the operating system. It's a quite simple operation to do if you have a little technical ingenuity, and you have to do it. If you have to do it with 1,000 computers in the municipality, you could probably figure it out. So my question is, what is the current status of installing Linux on Chromebooks? Does anybody know?
I thought it was pretty easy.
Yeah. There's
I mean,
a couple of different things that you can do.
I haven't looked into it for a long time, but I remember back in the day you just couldn't do it unless you had like a VM or some kind of CH root environment.
People have gotten around
So,
it. Go ahead. Probably no more than.
Yeah, so I specifically bought this Acer Chromebook that I'm video chatting on, because it was it's an Intel processor, which is supposed to be easier than the RISC
AMD
chips.
or RISC?
No, than the like what's in the Pi.
ARM.
That's it, the ARM processors. So I specifically got it because you could convert it. You could wipe out Chrome and install Linux. Most places recommend Gallium because that's what Chrome is based on. Chrome OS is based on.
Now, what is
most
Gallium?
Of what I
is
see,
that a distribution?
Yeah. It's a Linux distro, and then Google modified it to make Chrome OS. Most of the Chromebooks I look at are newer ones, and there's not a lot of information on whether you can install Linux directly on them. But anything that's a year or two old, I usually can find articles on how to set up Linux on them.
So what are you using?
Yeah.
Are you using Gallium on your Chromebook now?
No, I still have Chrome OS on it. I haven't had time to convert it. I need to open it up, and there's a large screw that you need to take out. And then I need to make sure that I have the image backed up, the current image backed up, and then I want to upgrade the memory and the hard drive in it, which is all upgradable on this Chromebook.
Now, what is that?
Sooner or later, someone's going to
do?
crack the bootloader on all of them.
Is that like a form of DRM, that screw, or what is that?
So it's a physical block to having your device rooted and modified. It's a security feature. There's instructions from Acer on how to remove it. So when my Chromebook reboots, I have to press Control D to go into developer mode. It stops on a login screen, on a boot screen, and doesn't continue. If I hit anything else, it boots into Chrome without the without it being rooted.
And did you say you have a Chromebook too, Joe? Oh, I thought you were showing us something.
No, I just do a lot of reading on it. But no, even the ones that you have some difficulty loading on, Linux, just plain Linux on, a lot of them you can load Linux applications on. They'll have a workaround that way. But all of them, sooner or later, will get their bootloader cracked and be able to install Linux on them.
Now, what is Fuchsia?
Wasn't that Google's wannabe Linux distro that never really came out?
Well, I've heard that this was supposed to replace Chrome OS. Like, that's the code name for it, Fuchsia.
It's been bounced around now for a couple of years, and we haven't really seen anything yet, so...
Fuchsia is a modern open source operating system that's simple, secure, updatable, and performant. Okay, here's the wiki. Fuchsia is an open source capability-based operating system developed by Google. In contrast to Google's Linux-based operating systems such as Chrome OS and Android, Fuchsia is based on a custom kernel named Zircon It publicly debuted as a self-hosted Git repository in 2016 without any official corporate announcement. After years of development, its official product launch was on the first generation Google Nest Hub, replacing its original Linux-based Cast OS. So this isn't even based on Linux then. Okay. It's got a custom kernel. Inspired by Unix.
Camera on that phone is better than the one on the Chromebook.
Yes, it is.
Now what is what are we looking at here, Orangey?
So I can't
Touch to
run
talk
the
and
run the camera and push to talk at the same time.
Oh, okay.
It's my Chromebook. It's a 15-inch i5 Acer 15-inch. It's probably 6 years old now.
Now, what do you usually do with your Chromebook? Is this mainly for internet surfing, or? There you are. There we are. I'm getting so confused. I don't know where to look. Okay. Honky went to bed.
I left. I'm back in the mumble chat. So yeah, mostly web surfing, cloud stuff. I bought it to do cloud stuff and to learn AWS. We had a group that were taking classes together.
Yeah.
You should check out an application that I actually already put in the show notes called Chasm Web, www.chasmweb.com. I also posted a video that Northridge Fix had put on Chasm, and basically it is a way to stream containers to web pages. Control your containers and show them off through Chrome.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I haven't done anything with it. I haven't done any more research on it. But the video made it look interesting. And their free version, it's not open source. Their free version, you can do up to 5 at one time. And it's also evidently a really good way to view an untrusted link. Put an extension in, and then if you have a link that you don't trust, you can right-click the link, tell it to open Chasm Web. Let's talk about that right on the
keep your web
page.
browsing secure, private, and non-attributable.
Zero trust browser isolation. So
no risk of compromising your endpoint.
Right, it will open it up in the container, and the container pushes the data through like a VPN or something, and it's just an easy way to open up something you don't trust but you want to see. You can stream these apps that you create, the containerized apps, to any browser. Chasm will handle it in the background. I don't know everything about this yet to be able to tell you this is how it works or anything like that. I saw the video the other day, thought it was cool, and haven't had a chance to look into it yet.
All workspaces. Now they've got so a workspace is what? It's just a page to view your apps?
Yeah.
Because in the workspace they have
Chromium. It says desktop workspaces, so desktop as a service.
Like a desktop in the cloud or something?
or a container.
Because they have like Salesforce, Steam, Discord, which is, from what I understand, you can't just host those in a Docker container. I'll have to look at this, see exactly what it does.
Like here, application workspace, app streaming, effortlessly stream containerized applications, any browser, and let the Chasm platform handle the work.
Okay, if you click on that Chasm Cloud Personal, it's cloud browsers, applications, and desktops for individuals. And you just create an account. I don't think it costs anything. Keep your online activities private and your devices safe from malware. Secure cloud workspaces in your web browser from any device in any location. By secure, they mean you trust their security, I'm guessing.
Jackie wants me to talk to you about an article. The ex-Twitter CEO Dorsey is launching a new social network.
Already?
Social media platform has launched a new social media platform called Blue Sky.
But he just sold Twitter, then why would you then create something else?
Because he sold Twitter for like 3 times what it was worth.
But if you want to run a social platform, then why don't you just hold on to what you had?
Maybe he felt like it was just not in the direction he wanted to go. What's Blue Sky?
It's a very short article. So it's got to be very early days on this information. So let me post the link. Yeah, he was fired by garnered 30,000 users in just 2 days after the announcement of the new app.
Yeah, I've never used Twitter, but the purge is definitely amusing.
Now, I put something here that I thought y'all might find interesting. Honky and Joe. It's called Playing with the Power of Full G-Code Control. It says slicing software needs to maintain a balance between ease of use and control while handling any STL you throw at it. However, if you eliminate the need to convert an existing 3D model and create into an STL and create G-code directly, you gain a lot of design freedom at the cost of increased design effort. By taking advantage of this freedom and making it more accessible, these guys have created the Full Control Design Library. So basically, you go straight from 3D model to G-code directly without an intermediary that needs to be sliced and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting. This allows you to print things like a single layer non-planar part, 90-degree overhangs without any support. Each model is a mathematically generated extrusion path with a host of adjustable design parameters and print settings. You can go browse the library, play with some parameters, and see what strikes your fancy. still in its infancy, so. There's a video here that looks interesting.
That sounds difficult, but cool.
So it shows you how you can print in thin air. It's got a little video there. It's kind of neat. Got all these big overhangs and stuff like that. Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Hey guys, Joe wanted me to go ahead and tell you, because I'm reading Heather Cock Richardson, Dr. Richardson from Boston College. She does a history review every day and what's going on current, and then she applies it to the past. But right now she's talking about how most of Twitter is under the National Security Correspondents and Voice of America News are watching them because many of the people in the mass layoffs from Twitter today were dedicated to fighting election disinformation, communication with campaign staff, and journalism. And it appears that the account verification and information checks, which make it clear if account is official or not, will end on Monday, the day before the election.
This will make a good segue because Nextcloud just introduced their version, their own social network, federated, self-hostable social network. What?
You're breathing really loud into your mic, Joe.
Who is
that was me.
Oh.
Here you
go. I didn't know what that was. So regarding Twitter, if you are a Twitter refugee and you want to find somewhere else to go because of all the stuff that's going on, which I can't confess to know much about because I don't pay attention to it. Nextcloud has released Nextcloud Social, and the article, the title of the article is "Trust in Musk or Go Federated with Nextcloud Social." The Nextcloud founder has tweeted the Nextcloud will work on an alternative. Nextcloud Social in the Fediverse. Through Nextcloud Socials, user can share their thoughts on an activity feed and subscribe to the feeds of others. The activity on social shows on the user's profile page, and users can easily share photos and other documents from within other parts of Nextcloud. Nextcloud servers can join the Fediverse, which is based on ActivityPub. It's coming soon. It's available as an alpha version with an update to Hub 3 coming soon. So, I don't know about Honky or you guys. My Nextcloud server is like for me only. You know, I don't want it to be federated. I don't want it to have any kind of social activity with other users going on. This is my digital safe where I keep my personal stuff, all my personal documents, everything. And I make sure it's as safe as possible to access it. I got two-factor authentication. I've got 16-character password with numbers, letters, uppercases, symbols, whatever. I do everything I can to keep this from being accessible to others. So now this is just me. Other people may feel differently. I don't want to connect a social network to it. I don't want to federate with other users to my Nextcloud. I don't use Nextcloud in that way. Now,
I agree with you.
If I was an organization or an office organization or something that, you know, had a different use for it, that wasn't for personal files and things, yeah, I might look into that. Maybe you want your own in-house social network, and everybody has a Nextcloud business account, and you know they can share notes and post things that way. I could see that, but for me, the way I use Nextcloud, I have zero interest in connecting it to Nextcloud Social. But that doesn't mean I'm not happy that somebody is still creating a new federated social network like that. Always use competition in that space.
Now, I agree with you to a point because I think I definitely wouldn't add a social network to my Nextcloud ever. I don't think that's what Nextcloud is for. I wouldn't mind federating. I would try to look into if there's a way to just federate. If I can set up just like one folder and be able to federate it. Because if I could do that, then being able to share files between like me, you, and Morton C or something like that, it would be a lot easier if it was all already just interconnected, and I can see that shared folder, federated folder on my Nextcloud that was actually connected to yours. So if you want to share a file with me, like if we're talking about doing the using the audio, if I just share that file through the through a federated folder through our Nextclouds, that just makes it a little bit easier. So I'm definitely not against that, but I understand what you're saying about trying to keep, because it's basically used as like your own as your own file sharing thing with a nice web UI. You don't want to have that as something that's spread out to everybody. And like I said, if you want to do your own social network, do your own social network. If you want to do Nextcloud, do Nextcloud. Don't have them all together.
Yeah, if we were to do a federated Nextcloud between us, to be honest, I would create a whole new Nextcloud instance. I would spin up a VM,
completely separate.
create a completely different Nextcloud instance, and then I would federate it. I'm paranoid about that stuff, because there's stuff on there that, that's just personal info. It's documents and stuff like that. That I understand that the the concept behind federation and how easy it makes it to do things, but it's, to me, even though it's not a valid comparison, I look at it as giving you my PIN number on my bank account or giving you the keys to my apartment or something. I know it's not just like that, but in my paranoid mind, that's how I think about my personal Nextcloud.
You wouldn't give me a
I
key to your
agree with you.
apartment?
Well,
if I live nearby, you wouldn't give me a key to your apartment?
I would,
Yeah.
but
I'm
like,
hurt.
well, let me use somebody else as an
Who's
example.
gonna feed Buster when you're not around?
Well,
huh?
that's true. That's true. Somebody's got to feed Buster. But maybe just a stranger, the key to my apartment, that an acquaintance, not somebody I've known for years now.
Well, one of the things that I find interesting is that once you add the social networking feature, you're inviting federal interest in your platform.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to be careful with who you actually federate with, and know those people in real life.
Well, but the thing about it is that the federal, in a lot of cases, including the telephone system, the federals want their interface to your system.
Right. If you more of when you're making like you're saying, like the social network aspect, not the federation. Federation shouldn't affect anything, because federation just means like it just connects you to federating just means it's peer to peer, it's you to me, as opposed to if you create a social network
Completely
connected
open
to
the
your
public.
right, that's completely open to the public, then that kind of opens up the door to somebody else, to the government, going, hey, we want to get in there too, whether it's just like a bot to sit there and collect all the information that bot can get its little hands on, or try to get a backdoor into something. But another reason not to have a social network onto something like your Nextcloud.
I mean, even when I used Facebook, they would have like, you could keep private notes on there if you wanted to write your own, I guess, kind of like diary entries and stuff. I would never do that on a platform like Facebook, on any social network. It's just something I would
Because
never
then
do.
they own it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I wouldn't put that out there into the world, whether they tell me nobody can see it or not. It's just not something I would do. But it's out there if you want to try. If what was Jackie saying about Twitter now? It's doing something bad.
Blue Sky. Well, yeah, Twitter is removing their fact-checking thing that they have set up and verification of accounts the day before the election.
I mean, you kind of don't you just get what you deserve if you just believe whatever you see on the internet anyway. So
Right.
Well, some people think Trump won.
well, I mean, just like if you see something on the internet that's supposedly a fact and it's actually important to you and affects your life, would you just take it at face value, or would you bother to do a little bit of research? So I
When
don't.
we do things, we just throw wild claims out there and then just claim it's fact.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh no, it's a conspiracy. That's what it is. It's a conspiracy because all that evidence showing that there wasn't anything wrong with the 2020 election, and people just say, yeah, that's all manufactured evidence. It's not real. There's no way Biden could have won because Trump is God.
Yeah, but you're not going to convince people like that anyway, no matter what kind of information you give them.
Research, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so that doesn't matter. Anyway, I don't want to get political
Yeah.
in here, but
Anyway, also, it seems that the federal government has their Bureau of Truth, and they're very upset that Twitter may not be following the Bureau of Truth standards.
now that Musk has bought it, I guess. Or
Again, government shouldn't have any control over any of that, anyways, because they don't own the platform.
yeah.
Well, it seems that they don't have to own the platform; they just have to have buddies in the platform.
That may be.
Let's move on here.
Right. Well, we got Netmire. Have you done anything more with your Raspberry Pis?
No, I haven't been doing that. I've been doing some winterizing around here. Also, I've got some I've got a 2 gig Raspberry Pi, which originally I was going to use as just a plain server, but I may see about making it into an SDR node, software-defined radio.
Right.
I think that would be. You finally got your dongle in, right?
I have the dongle kit. I haven't done much with it because I've been distracted by other issues.
What's the application you want to do? SDR++ or something like that?
There's SDR Sharp. I mean, there's a bunch of SDR stuff on in your standard Ubuntu repositories, and there's SDR++ is one of the interesting ones. Some time ago, they were talking that there was a YouTube series about how to compile it for your platform and stuff.
I've been seeing SDR++ quite a bit when I look at stuff like that. Somebody even had a Pine phone with a on-the-go adapter connected to a RTL SDR dongle, and they were running SDR++ on the Pine phone, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I remember seeing that article.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so you were able to get the kit with the antenna and stuff?
Yeah, I was able to get the kit
Dipole antenna?
Yeah. Also, evidently, once you buy that, Amazon markets a lot of SDR stuff to you. So that I will get a never-ending stream of SDRs and antenna stuff. Now that I bought one of them.
Now, one useful thing that it did recommend to me, but I had already heard that it's a good thing to get, is a what they call I bought it too, and I can't. I'm actually using it. Let me see what it's called. It's another adapter that goes in between the antenna and the dongle itself. It's a high pass filter for blocking out AM signals. You know, that seem like if you want to, if your dongle is being overwhelmed by AM radio signals, this will block those out, and you'll get better reception. And I use that. They have an FM one too, but I didn't want that because I actually listen to FM radio over the SDR, but I don't really listen to AM radio. So
yeah, well, since both Honky and I are up in the WBZ AM neighborhood, and 10:30 a.m. is a clear channel station, that may be a required upgrade.
I'm going to post it in the show notes towards the bottom, and it really did clear up a lot of reception problems I was having. It's a bandpass filter.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I've done shortwave listening, and something like BZ can overwhelm inexpensive shortwave receivers. I think I have one of the Radio Shack ones, and I think the BZ was horning in on its AM reception. Of course, up here, BZ, you can pick up on it about anything except your races.
Oh, another thing I was going to ask you, Netminer, have you ever messed around with microcontrollers, like programming them or using them or anything like that?
Not really. No. Back when I had a system like that, it was 6502 based, and microcomputers were used as microcontrollers.
Because I'm just now getting into them, and man, it's amazing what you can do with modern microcontrollers now. They're almost like little computers, you know? I mean, you can run some of the higher end microcontrollers. You can even run like motion detecting and stuff like that. Like not just motion detecting, but like it'll output to a display like where your arms and legs are and stuff. They've really become pretty advanced. Especially, I think a lot of it has to do with the more advanced libraries that are available for microcontrollers now.
You can actually use like the Pi Pico to make a Game Boy.
Yeah, that's right. I saw an article the other day about streaming Game Boy using a Pi Pico. Go ahead.
Is one of these microcontrollers used as the glue between some device and something like a Raspberry Pi.
Oh yeah,
Using one of the SPI or I2C or whatever,
yeah, that, and also a lot of people use them to convert analog to digital, just to get the digital signal from one of my friends at the Makerspace created that little weather station that it's an analog signal on this spinning rotor, but he uses the microcontroller to convert that to digital, and then it's all processed by the Raspberry Pi. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, I was going to show you how small these are, like the ones I'm using now, and they have 4 megabytes of cache on them, which is a lot. But so this is the adapter I bought from Micro Center, and it's got a little switch on the back that you can switch whether you're loading firmware or booting into the shell. And then check out how small the actual microcontroller is. This is an 8266. Model name is ESP01S, made by Espressif. But you can see the little Wi-Fi antenna on it, and the controller itself. And then the pins are right there on the back. And you can even see what's labeled as ground, receive, transmit, and stuff like that. But this module is cool because it's made just for this microcontroller, and it just plugs in, the pins just plug into it, so there's no soldering, there's no using jump wires or anything like that, and then you can program it that way. And it's kind of hard to see, but like compared to my hand, look how tiny it is, and it can do so much stuff, but it's a neat little device, and the programming these is way easier than trying to program a full-fledged PC application or something. There's just the syntax is easier if you want to use an Arduino IDE or if you want to use MicroPython, things like that, and also it's compatible with like a Raspberry Pi too, if you wanted to feed sensor data into a Raspberry Pi.
Also, your to go full circle, your I believe the Arduino IDE has been augmented with a Raspberry Pi module.
Oh, really? So you can program Raspberry Pi within the Arduino IDE now?
Yeah, I was looking at that. Not that I'm liable to get down to that level, but it's nice to know that they're finally bridging the gap.
See, I wish I would have started with microcontrollers instead of Raspberry Pis. Raspberry Pi was cool to get you started because you can run an actual operating system on it. But like as far as doing things with the GPIO pins and stuff is a lot more complicated than if you're just using 4 pins on a microcontroller. But now I'm getting into microcontrollers, so I'm having to learn all this other new stuff, which isn't bad, but it's a whole new set of skills to learn. I like it.
Well, I think a lot of the especially with the artificial prices of Raspberry Pi systems, the
I wasn't eating snacks.
the the ability to put your microcontroller out there on the experimental end of some communications chain is far more important these days. That is to say, Pies are so pricey and expensive, you can't use them for the expendable end of a laboratory device, like they were originally supposed to be priced as. $35 is not much, but if that same computer is going for $250, you have to treat it far gentler.
Yeah, see, like these microcontrollers, these are like $1 or $2 on AliExpress. And this, to get the adapter, the microcontroller together, I bought it at Micro Center, so it was like $7, but I could have got it for just a few dollars. Compare that to the price of a Raspberry Pi. And then all the little sensors you can get, like this is really cool. This is a relay it's made for the microcontroller. So it's powered by 5 volts to power the microcontroller itself. The microcontroller just fits in like that with the pins on top. So you got Wi-Fi connectivity, and then you got whatever programming instruction set in the microcontroller. So you got your 5-volt input here, and then you got your regular 120 right here. And this is the relay right here to convert the microcontroller instructions to turn the relay on and off to right here. So just something like this is just a few dollars, and it's just all the things you can do with it is really cool. All kinds of timing schedules and stuff like that, and with MicroPython, which is not a full-fledged Python, but I mean you can do basically anything you can in regular Python. You can write all kinds of for loops and have dictionaries and pull in math libraries, and I'd hook this up to like the solenoid valve or something to power the solenoid valve from the relay, and I could have a whole timing schedule on here. And also the same microcontroller will take a sensor data from the soil moisture sensors, and a whole setup like this, is just a few dollars. So I mean, if you want to get started in computing and programming and something practical, I would advise listeners that aren't really into it yet, check out microcontrollers. I
But
think
you
it's
hook like 3.3 volts or 5 volts up to one of them, and then like either a 12 volt line or a 120 volt line to the other socket.
This is 5-volt power right here, so that actually powers the microcontroller itself, right? And then this is your line coming in from your power right here. So, and then you'd have a break on the line so you could turn it on and off. So the relay, whenever the relay activated on and off, you have your device, whatever light bulb or whatever here in line with these. And then the pins, I forgot what their label is. My eyes are bad.
Although my instincts are to use a secondary relay driven by your for a real load. I'd put a real relay out in the world.
Well, see, this relay itself is up to 250 volts AC. It's pretty, it's only 10 amps, but.
Well, I'm just saying that I think I'd put any real current load on a more remote relay.
You could. However you want to do it.
I mean, for a lot of things, including a lot of LED work and stuff. I mean, we're talking a little that with LEDs running at ridiculously low wattages, you could certainly control some room lights or whatnot with that. But I'm just saying that for anything anything like ceiling fan, window fan, what have you, I would go with a with a power relay with more current. Your relay may have that capacity, but putting a lot of voltage and a lot of amperage through tiny wires like that seems to accept. This gives me a little bit of the heebie-jeebies.
Oh yeah, I would definitely use heavy wiring. Like, see, I'll show you. Here's the main smart switches I use, which is basically the same thing on the inside, but I use just regular, cord on these, like electrical cord, and it's got the same relay and module inside of it. It's just not programmable, but you have to take it apart in order to wire it. And these are the ones that you can buy on Amazon or whatever, and they're little Wi-Fi breakers. And but it's not. There's not much else you can do except, you can't program them custom firmware or anything like that. But yeah, if that's what my recommendation to listeners, that like Netminer said, if you don't have a lot of cash and you want to get into something like this, microcontrollers, I think, are the way to go to learn programming and basic automation and anything really. It's a good way to get started with your unlimited funds, or say, with the price of Raspberry Pis now, like he was saying, right? And you still want to get your feet wet.
The availability of Raspberry Pis.
Scarcity and availability. Check out microcontrollers. I mean, you don't have to run any appliances off of them. You can always, just the microcontroller itself can do a lot of stuff. You can put it on a breadboard and run all kinds of circuits and LEDs and whatever you want. They're just fun to play with.
One of the things that I've been following is somebody who's building up a 6516 that is to say that a 16-bit 6502 machine, and one of the parts of controlling it and providing clock signals and stuff and loading programs and whatnot was using a teensy to handle a lot of logic and front panel operations. So the microcontroller was replacing a lot of the random logic that would be used on the old school micro or mini computer front panels. Loading data, loading registers, controlling clocks, so that the teensy in MicroPython or something could single step the processor and stuff like that.
Servo controls, a lot of fun using these things. Like this little kit I got is it's so you can run a power supply to a breadboard, and it's really cool. Like just a little breadboard like this. You just plug it into the breadboard like that, and then you can run either like a micro USB, or you can even run like a battery off of it. A little 9-volt battery, you know. It steps down to 5 and 3.3 volt. So it's got that little plug-in right there if you wanted to run a battery, or if you got a little power bank and you wanted to run like a micro USB to USB, you can do that. And it's just a little power supply module for a breadboard. And these are really cool too, and they're really cheap too. Like all this stuff is super cheap, you know, which is really good for entry-level stuff. And plus, it teaches you how to, you know, practical programming and stuff. You know, like this little power supply module I bought separately, and it was, you know, just a couple dollars. But it's good for, you know, you need to run power to your board, and maybe you want to run it on a battery. You know, maybe you don't want to connect your laptop's PC to your breadboard because it's kind of iffy, whatever you're working on. You just get a little power supply adapter like this for your breadboard. It's got pins. It just plugs into the breadboard. And, just stuff like that, you know. There's lots of stuff you can do with just little funds to get into programming and computers and stuff. And I think microcontrollers is a really good, especially now, microcontrollers is a really good jumping off point with the advent of Go and the Arduino and stuff like that. And, you know.
Well, the thing that, and I've gone back when the programming microcomputers and microcontrollers was very much overlapping. For instance, the 8051 microcontroller that's the heart of many PC keyboards actually had a version with BASIC built into it back in the day, with a tiny BASIC built into it back in the day, and the tiny BASIC would do what your MicroPython or whatnot does. And you could program it over a serial link, which again, and now those 8-bit microcontrollers are considered terribly old-fashioned and whatnot, and underpowered or whatever.
Bill, that sounds like a really, really easy way to make a macro pad.
Yeah, see, the thing about like these 8266s, they're already several years old, these microcontrollers. But I mean, any microcontroller can still be put to use today, you know, unlike PCs where, you know, maybe they stop supporting your particular architecture or whatever. You could still run BASIC on one of those old microcontrollers and you can still perform functions with it, you know. I think it's a big difference between something like a microcontroller and a full-fledged computer or CPU. You know, you could still get functionality out of it regardless of its age. You know.
Oh, that reminded Jackie, and she reminded me to remind you or ask you guys. Did I show you guys this last time?
I don't think so.
Little keyboard.
Bluetooth keyboard.
It is not a Bluetooth keyboard. It's a 2.4 gigahertz keyboard, so it has a dongle, which I have currently set in this USB hub. But $5 at 5 and below, and it works. And it works fine. And yeah,
look,
it looks exactly like that one, except yours is probably Bluetooth and costs $16 from eBay.
I don't buy things off eBay.
Or Amazon.
Probably Amazon.
But 5 and below, bought this in person. I think it was like $5.25 because everything's not 5 and below there anymore.
What is 5 and below? I've got one close to me, but I've never even been in there.
The whole store that everything is either $5 or below. No, I got a dongle on mine too.
Oh, okay. But yeah, this is the lowest price I've ever seen on these, and I bought a couple of them, and yeah, like $5.25. And they just got a whole bunch of like really cheap stuff in there in general. If you need cables quickly for low cost, you can get cables in there, decent cables.
Is it like Daiso, that Japanese
Phone stands. I don't know what Daiso is, but I've picked up a lot of like no, that's like a Japanese dollar store, Jackie said.
Yeah.
But like Switch stands for a Nintendo Switch, couple of replacement controllers for a Switch that were non-Switch branded. I think I showed those off at one point. And just low cost stuff. I get a lot of my T-shirts from there because they have a lot of ones with different designs on them that are pretty cool. I'm pretty sure this one that I'm wearing, the Fifth Element shirt that I have. Oh, that was elsewhere. Okay, yeah, but similar stuff. Like most of my Mandalorian shirts come from there. But this whole thing works great. The touchpad works awesome. No latency because it's 2.4 gigahertz and not Bluetooth. And it is around $5.
Now, what are you using it for?
I use it. Well, it's great for thumb typing with my 1GX, or if I just don't want to grab the whole keyboard. Just have something small. And like I said, the touchpad works great. It works great as a mouse for my computer, anything like that. I'm putting one in my electronics go bag, so that way I always have a USB keyboard without having to have a giant freaking keyboard in there. So if I need to do a quick repair for somebody else or something like that, I can just...
Well, I'm going to go tomorrow because I can just ride my bike up there. It's real close by. It's right next to Petco.
Yeah. I also all the Bluetooth modding that I'm doing, the set that I'm using right now. Jackie, can you hand me that bag right there, the bottom shelf? Yeah. So these were on clearance at the one that's near me, and I got like 6 of them, and I got them for about $3 each. And they're not great headsets, but they're perfect for modding. That's what I've been doing.
How many headsets do you own now?
I don't know, a couple hundred.
Oh my god!
I own a lot of headsets.
You are the headset
You still only
man.
have 2 ears, right?
I do, but I
But
like
this is your
working.
hobby.
I like working on headsets, and I some of them I collect because they're interesting or rare. Like what the XB 700s, one of the first sets of headphones with like 24-hour listening. One of the first sets of headphones with USB-C, and it is from Sony. They're extra bass, but they're one of the lower extra bass XBs that Sony has, and then these I modified to have larger ear cups because I hate on that they might be listed as over ear, but they were definitely on ear, and they pushed on my earrings, so I modified those. I have some of the skull candies, just because they're insanely easy to work on. The Turtle Beaches. People talk smack about how cheap Turtle Beaches are, but for mid-range sound, there's nothing that really compares to them. Plus, insanely easy to take apart and work on. I've never worked on anything easier than a Turtle Beach headset. If you want something to fix and it's not the plastic that's broken, Turtle Beach, easiest thing ever, fix. Yeah, and part of the reason I got into it is because I have kids, and my kids are extremely hard on all their headphones, and so I'm constantly repairing those. I have a whole bunch of the Hesh 3s that they break them, I repair them. They break them, I repair them. I can 3D print the arms for the hinges on those, and I can put them back together easy enough. And they will drop off a broken one, pick up a fixed one, and we will just rotate through, and I'll fix the next ones, and it keeps them in headsets without me having to spend a whole butt ton of money. Now, anymore, even buying broken headsets is expensive. I have not bought like a job lot of broken headsets since like almost the start of COVID, because the price has just gotten insane and you might as well buy new. Yeah, and JoJo, he gets some of the $5 ones from like Five and Below because he wanted a set of in-ears, so he got those. I've let him use because he loses headsets, so I did put together some razors for him, the Krakens. He likes the green Razer Krakens, and he's done a good job with those. He uses that one for school, and I have a couple of different backups of the green Razer Krakens for parts. So I can, yeah, Jackie's grabbing one right now, so that I can switch out parts. The hardest thing with those is finding a working green mic. So he'll probably end up with a black mic at some point. Like this one, you can see no longer has the mic because I had to use it on his headset, and this one has a break in the cable somewhere. So I could do a full cable replacement, or I could have a green set and put just a MMCX mod, and then it'll work with my LGs. And that actually sounds really good. I have a black pair that I already did that with. And then, it's now a Bluetooth headset. I strap it on. It connects up to the things that I always have with me, and it sounds great. And it will use the mic on the LG instead of the mic that is no longer here. So that works out fine since it no longer has a mic anymore. Anyway, I have a bunch of the Sennheisers. I like the sound on the Sennheisers. Let me see. The Audio Technicas, they make a whole bunch of different quality of the Audio Technicas. So I have the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s, just because I collect headsets. So I also have the white and the black of the 50s. And the thing with the 50s is that the hinge always breaks on these, and the 40s as well, like right here. So then they end up going too far back. So I just have to 3D print this little catch thing, snap it on there, and even if it's broken already, it will make it usable again. And if it's not broken, it will prevent it from breaking. And then like this one, I've added a Bluetooth module to it, so it just works as Bluetooth. Now, the only thing I don't like about this particular Bluetooth module is it's great for like sound, but it doesn't really have a mic. And it looks like it has a mic because it's got a little mic hole there. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. Probably not. But it just doesn't come across as having a mic. So you end up using the mic that's on your phone. But the sound quality is awesome. Battery life is awesome. It works great. And sometimes I'll just grab that instead of my modded Crushers or my modded 700s, or one of my first headsets I got, the Sennheiser Urban Ears, which I also added different ear cups to that are slightly larger. You can tell that they're actually from one of the Razer Krakens, but they're larger, they're more comfortable. The thing I don't like about these is the touch controls are really easy to hit. But for sound quality, these are awesome. I like headphones. Don't get me started. I will go at it all night.
Now, does your wife share this obsession with headphones that you do?
Hell no. But she lets me run with my obsession, and she doesn't give me too much crap as long as I don't, go crazy buying crap. And I don't take over the inside of the house, which is why they're all out here. And now, like I said, there's actually a bunch of the Hesh 3s that I need to work on over here. And then there's this pair of Marshall Studios, which are awesome. But it's awesome because it does have two 3.5 millimeter jacks, but you can use either one with a 3-pole, and it will output sound to both ears, so you're not required to use both. And I just think that's cool. And the only thing I don't like about them is a small ear cup size. But I'm not going to mod these because these are actually a valuable headset. And then a bunch of other Bluetooth ones that I've fixed. Like this is Blue Parrot. I don't really like it, but I don't see the point in selling it either. And then, yeah, I think the rest is all Heshes and Crushers over here. And then I have a box of ones that still need various fixes that I can't work on. I have a pair of DT770s with one of the speakers is completely blown and there's no fixing that, and I'm not going to pay the money to buy one of their high impedance speakers. So if I run across another DT770 with the same issue, I'll be able to fix that. So yeah, I have a couple of hundred headsets. Oh,
Yeah, you do.
and in case you were wondering, these, all except for one of these, is waiting for either modification or to be stripped of parts. So there's two of them that need stripped of parts, one that doesn't need anything, and the rest will all get modded.
Cool.
But I'm in no rush because I already have plenty that are working.
Now, did John know there's two separate TV series called Dark Web?
TV series?
Mm-hmm. One's
Nope.
from 2018, 8 episodes. The other one's called Dark/Web from 2019. That's 8 episodes. If you want to do some TV watching. So anything else y'all wanted to talk about? It's almost, well, it's 1 o'clock there. It's 12 here. So, Joe, you don't want to go to the group tomorrow?
I don't think so.
Okay,
The whole
maybe
being
next
in
time.
public thing. I know I'm going to get forced back to the office sooner or later, and I'm just planning on relaxing as long
Maybe,
as I can.
maybe next month?
Maybe next month. I am going to be forced to take vacation soon again. But
Use it or
there's no
lose it?
time for me to take vacation. Yes. Use it or lose it, and there's no time for me to take vacation. So
What do you do?
they'll have to let me take it sooner or later. Like, have to. Or I'll take it up with HR.
Martin C.
Yes.
Please pass on to Miss AEW and Mint. I've been looking around since the leaves are changing here, and I still haven't found anything more beautiful than that picture that you've got of the both of them.
They both want to come and see the leaves change. They'd never seen leaves change color.
Well, yeah, well.
But I will pass that along.
Inviting them to come is a blessing. The hard part is going to be letting them go back.
I'm pretty sure if Elle comes, she's not going back unless I go back with her.
Honky, anything you wanted to cover? I'm good.
I think I've covered everything.
What about you, Morton C. Joe, Netminer?
I didn't bring much to the show this week.
Any last words?
I do want to find another Pi project. I still have a Pi Zero that's not in use at all. And another Pi Zero that has a hub on it that I use for a project that can be repurposed. But
SDR?
Yeah, I gotta buy more parts for SDR.
Get your dongle.
I will consider it. I will add it to the list of things.
All right. Our next recording date will be November 18th, 2022. Our music is Downright, provided by Klaatu and Broam. I'd like to thank Delwin for the use of his mumble server. Finally, we'd like to give a special thanks to Fatherfinch, Fweeb, Dave Morris, and Tony Beemus for all their help and support over the years. I've been your host this evening, honkeymagoo. With us tonight has been Joe.
Good night.
Minnix.
Good night.
Morton C.
Good night, everyone.
And Netminer.
And Buster.
Good night. And I must thank Ms. Jackie for her input to tonight's show. One of the rare ladies to visit us, to grace us with her presence.
Yeah, it's usually a big sausage fest. We need to see about getting some more women co-hosts. Be more inclusive. We already got a cat. We just need a girl.
How many female Linux nerds that want to do podcasting do you know?
I bet I know one. At the Makerspace, I think there's a girl.
Spider.
Yeah.
Well,
No, we're not done recording.
the cat just means that we're under proper feline supervision.
Mm-hmm. He's the boss, according to him.